This is Stephen Sloan. The date is March 24th, 2016. I'm with Lieutenant Paul Ty at his home in Rockwall, Texas. This is the interview for the Texas Holocaust and Genocide Commission's Survivors of Genocide Oral History Project. Thank you, Lieutenant Ty, for sitting down with us today. I know you were a fairly young man when the time of the events that we're going to focus on today. But one thing that would be very useful for us to understand is for you to talk a little bit about your early life, that time when you were living in the capital. We've talked to other Cambodians who had this experience. Most of them lived in rural areas early on in their life, but you had the experience of at a young age, getting to experience the city before all these changes come in the 1970s.
Right.
And so if you could talk a little bit about your early life there in Phnom Penh, excuse me.
Life back then in Phnom Penh, I was a child and I don't remember everything, of course, but it was beautiful. It was nice, with my family, and my father and my mom, they own a restaurant, and I get to help them out in the restaurant and go to school and all that, and it was nice. The one thing I didn't quite like was, even as a child back then, the soldiers would come in the restaurant and eat and all that, and helping my mom after school, I get to observe a lot of things that happened there. The bad things that happened was the soldiers come in, and a few soldiers okay. My father and my mom, they pretty much generous. They good people, and they would allow or let the soldier eat for free. But then more and more soldiers would come, and I remember one time my father, took a bill to one of the soldiers and say, "Sir, this will be your bill." There's so many of them. And the soldier pulled out his hand grenade and said, "You want this?" And my father was shaking, and I was like, "Oh, no, it's okay. It's free." It's that bad. The official there is just so corrupt. The soldier is just not disciplined. And because of that, my father and my mom decided to move out of Phnom Penh to another city. And so I don't have much of memory in Phnom Penh, actually, besides going to school and working in the restaurant with my parents. I had a lot of friends, but then we had to move, so I had to make new friends and all that. But it was a beautiful city. It still is now, but my memory back then wasn't too pleasant.
Well, this is a very strange question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Sure.
Because I know your career is going to be made as a civil servant in a city.
Yes.
Where you are a public official, and you are someone that people look to keep the peace, and to have justice and fairness. So I'm just thinking about, as you talk about your experience with these soldiers and your family's experience with these soldiers, and then what you've ended up doing for your occupation.
Right. So actually, it helped me, with my career now. That would be something I would not do. I mean, being corrupt like that. So I always remember that occasion. So, and I remind myself here, hey, treat people the way you want to be treated, and be nice to people. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Just smile and be nice and be helpful. And that is why right now, not just right now, it's been all these years, my heart is in the community, and I have volunteered a lot of my time just working in the community.
Yeah. I just made that connection right there, because it's this insecurity that your family felt, this danger that your family felt, and the way you work now to try to create the opposite of that for communities.
Exactly. But I'll tell you this, though, I never ever thought that I would want to be an officer, a police officer, or anyone wearing a uniform, because uniform in Cambodia represented just a bad authority,
Yeah.
just corrupt and bad. It's just we were so afraid of police officers. We were so afraid of soldiers or anyone in uniform because we're so used to with people in uniform coming to our house and knock on doors and then take family members away and we don't get to see them again. Or they would come in, they beat a few of us up and they would leave. And no question asked, forget about search warrant or warrant anything, not in Cambodia. It's that bad. So never wanted to be a police officer, to be honest with you, but I end up now I'm a police officer. I always wanted to be a teacher. That was my goal, my dream when I was a child.
So you enjoyed school as a child?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I miss that very much because during communist regime, school was outlawed. We could not go to school. We had to work and work and work to serve the government, the Angka.
Do you have memories of school when you were there in the capital?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What do you remember from school there? What was it like?
It's we had to wear uniform, khaki pants, white shirt, and very disciplined. Every morning we would go to we would salute the flag. We'll take turn, but everybody, the whole school would come out and salute the flag, and we are very respectful to our teachers. I'm not saying it's bad here. I never been to high school here, but I was told by friends who went to high school here and middle school and all that of what happened here. It's like it shocked me. I said, "You kidding, right?" Because in Cambodia, school, teachers can beat you up any day, anytime they like. And if you tell your parents gonna say, "Good, I like that," it's that way. So anyway, so in Cambodia, school was good. We get to learn a lot, and discipline, self-discipline, and we get to respect people. We're not allowed to be loud. It's very strict, very strict. So I enjoy that very much. I don't know why, but I love school. I love education, and that's why again, my dream when I was a child, I always wanted to be a teacher. Teacher represents education. Teacher is like next from God, the way they looked at in Cambodia. So actually, and if you have any family members or yourself a teacher, then you're really well respected. So it made me love education, and I always tell my kids, education is the only way, the only thing. It's how you survive.
Were there particular subjects that you enjoyed when you were younger?
We learned French. I love language. So I enjoy learning French back then. Had never heard of English before, only French. But I love French and math, yeah, a lot, and writing and reading. I enjoy reading. Love reading books.
Well, you mentioned this transition that your family is going to have to make out of the city. Can you? Again, I know you were very young. This was around 1970, I think. But
yes, exactly.
Can you tell me what you remember from that? There's going to be a lot of moves coming up for you and your family. So can you remember what you remember about that move?
Well, as far as remember, we moved to a village called Kirirom. It's up on a hill in Cambodia, closer to Vietnam. My father had some friends there who had business there also. So moving there, I remember we moved there, then my father and my mom, they opened up another restaurant. It's a very beautiful city and everything. It's not that far from Phnom Penh, actually.
Okay.
And I have to realize Cambodia is not that big.
Yeah.
So we moved.
But I know the roads aren't very good.
Not very good. Oh my gosh, bumpy. But anyway, so we were there enjoying the city, beautiful city, lots of trees. I made some new friends and get to go to school and everything. But memories over there were so bad because at school many times we get interrupted. We get sent home like almost every week because of the fighting between the Khmer Rouge and the Cambodian freedom fighters.
That's right, the Civil War.
Civil War, exactly. So we in school and we hear bombs, we would hear loud noise, we would hear gun fighting pretty close. So and then we hear on the loudspeaker, everybody get to go home. Back then, because home's pretty close to school, so parents don't have to come pick us up. We would just run home. It wouldn't take us that long either. But anyway, we get interrupted many times while in school. And same problem too is soldiers were bad. My parents they love restaurant business. So again, they didn't give up. They opened up another restaurant and had the same problems with soldiers.
Yeah, I know everyone works. So what was your contribution to the restaurant? What was your job?
Actually, I go to school full time, but then whenever we get dismissed from school because of the fighting and all that, I would help my parents just washing dishes and mopping the floors and such. My mom and my dad, they were owners and they were cooks too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And my older brothers get to help out to serve, wait on tables.
Yeah. Did your older brothers get harassed by either the government or the Khmer Rouge at that point, recruited, or did it touch your family as far as the fighting goes? Did you have relatives that were involved in the fighting?
Oh, not really involved in the fighting, but were recruited.
Yeah.
My older brothers, two of them actually, and in Cambodia it's very common for people to run, or you may have family living in the city, but then the older kids would move somewhere else to hide from the government because they don't want to be recruited for the military because we knew it's very dangerous. And that's how I lost one of my oldest brother. He moved away to a village that is known to be very malaria infested and all. But he went anyway just to get away from the town. And it's common for the soldiers to go to school or go to like a theater or any public place just to, actually when I use the word recruit, that I'm being nice.
Yeah,
they don't
sure.
just recruit, they force you to join actually. So they would, I'm talking about, you will see some grown-up run and then these soldiers after them and grab them and put them in the car and take them and they become soldiers. That's how they recruit. So it's not like by willing, anything. No, they would just grab you and now you are a soldier because they needed bodies to go fight in the front line against the Khmer Rouge and against the Viet Cong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I know this is going to be a period where there's fighting for years.
Yes.
70 to 75.
Yes.
And your family is suffering some from this exposure to some of the corruption in the government. Did your family have much exposure to the Khmer Rouge during that period?
No. The Khmer Rouge to us was unknown.
Yeah.
We just heard that they were trying to take over Cambodia.
Mm-hmm.
There was mixed feelings about it. Some say, "Oh, I wish they would come sooner. I want them here because they're gonna liberate us from this corrupt government. They're gonna make everyone equal. We all gonna be good. It's democratic and all that. Everything gonna be good. There won't be poor people. There won't be rich people." And my family, we're kind of in the middle class, so we wasn't sure which way to sway.
Yeah.
We didn't know much about the Khmer Rouge. We just know People telling us they seen them from time to time, but mostly they were nice,
Yeah.
and they were supposed to be the lifesavers. They're
Yeah,
supposed to
and
come
I-
save us.
I know there were problems with the Lon Nol government. There were a lot of bad opinions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's the thing that you know and the thing that you don't know, and
Yeah.
people are hoping for better. With what they
Exactly.
don't know.
Even though it's the unknown, a lot of people was hoping for the change.
Mhm.
So a lot of people actually, unbeknownst to me, actually, although I was a kid, I recognize and I know a lot of adults, a lot of leaders in the community who were just they have jobs like teachers and some are just like regular labor works and friends of my father and everything. But then when the Khmer Rouge came in, they were a high-ranking official on the Khmer Rouge side. We didn't know about it, and we were thinking, how in the world? They were just our friends, and now they are the high-ranking official with the Khmer Rouge. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that the Khmer Rouge had a lot of supports,
Yeah.
not really open in the public, but secretly, a lot of people supported them, and I think that's how they had victory over the Lon Nol army.
Yeah. Is it Kiriram? Kiriram?
Kirirom, yeah.
Kiriram? So I know the situation turns out to be not much better in Kiriram, so your family actually has to relocate
Again.
again. So how long were you in Kiriram and when did you move?
We were there in Kirirom about probably, I would say, a year and a half, or maybe 2.
So just long enough to make new friends. And,
Exactly.
Yeah, so,
And then lose them again.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city. A lot of good memories there. A lot of tall trees and weather is real nice and everything. The only thing was the fighting.
Mhm.
Fighting the Khmer Rouge, for some reason that's where they were, I guess they headquarter around there, so that's where they started the fighting was from Kirirom. And lots of fightings, and I mean it's very common to hear gunshots during class. Sometimes the teachers say, okay, be okay, and another hour, then getting closer and closer, then they say, okay, let's go home. That's it. So sometimes we don't go to school for a week or so. Then we'd go back, and then a few hours later we get dismissed again.
Being a young man, being a young boy, I know you still had to find things to use your imagination and to entertain yourself. And I've had a young boy. You've had a young boy. I've been a young boy.
Yeah.
So I know you found play and things to maybe distract yourself from all the things that are going on. What are some memories of maybe sports you played or other things that you did to maybe get your mind off of some of the scary things?
Right.
Yeah.
That's not much for us to do actually,
Yeah.
because we were afraid. We're not even allowed to go outside.
See.
Because that's how bad it was in Kirirom was that they said, again, the Khmer Rouge, we heard they're good people. Some said, no, they're not good. They're going to grab you and make you a soldier and all that. So my parents, they're very protective, so they told us not to go outside. If you do have to go outside, then go in group, at least bring your brother. I only had one sister. So, and your sister out with you and stay in group. So we didn't really get to go out play any sports.
Yeah.
Out in the open, just at home, just do what we can. Actually, so pretty much I would just stay home and read books, and same thing with my siblings. We read books and we would discuss about stuff and sometimes play hide and seek in the house. Basically it, but sports or anything, we couldn't go outside at all because the fightings were so bad.
And that's part of the things that motivate this move to Poi Pet?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
the reason the real reason, the one incident that caused my parents to move again was one time my father was sick, and I think it is safe for me to say almost every house in Cambodia had bomb shelter underneath the house. So we had one underneath a house in Cambodia, and my father became sick one day, and we had to close the restaurant business for many days because no one would come out to eat. Everyone's so afraid. So and the fighting is getting closer and closer. And one day, I mean, we were all. It was at night time. We were all sleeping, and then a bomb fell right in a backyard, and my father fell from his bed. It shook the whole house. And my mom was crying, and we all were terrified, and we all ran down to the bomb shelter and stayed there for many days, because it seems like years to us, but maybe I would say probably about a week, while we kept hearing the gun fight, and so we wouldn't go up. We just stay down in the bomb shelter and eat there, and do what we could there, just stay there. And so my father said, "No, I can't do this anymore." So when the gun fighting kind of slowed down a little bit, he said, "We're gonna have to move." So this time we moved to Poi Pat.
And why Poi Pat?
My father's brother, my uncle, lived there in Poi Pat.
I see.
Actually, I said brother, two brothers, his older brother and his younger brother, and my uncle, my father's older brother, owned the restaurant also in Poi Pat. So my parents said, "Okay, let's move there to help them with their restaurant."
Okay.
So they decided to do that, and we moved there, and they worked in the restaurant with my uncle.
I see. Give me an idea of how Poi Pat was different than Koi Ram, the life there.
The life there, Poi Pat there's a lot more people. It's along the border of Cambodia and Thailand.
Okay.
And so a lot of, for some reason, there's a lot of Chinese ethnic individuals there. And some Vietnamese, some Thai, so mixture of different nationals there in Poi Pat. School there, there's more students, but the fighting wasn't too bad because it's closer to Thailand, in the west now. We didn't get to hear the gunfights all the time anymore, so it's a lot better there. So we went to school there in Poi Pat. All my siblings, same thing, and we wore uniform and everything, and get to enjoy life a lot better. Then my father worked in the restaurant to help my uncle, but then my mom, she spoke Thai and she spoke Vietnamese. So her work back then is she would go into Thailand, to Bangkok, to Aranya Pratet, and would buy stuff and bring back to Cambodia. Yeah, so I was able to go with my mom a few times into Thailand to conduct business, actually to watch my mom do stuff when I'm off. Yeah, but it's a lot better than Kiriron. It's much better.
Yeah.
Make a lot of good friends there too.
That was exciting for you to get to leave the country to go to Thailand.
Yes, because it was exciting to see people in a different country. It's just like night and day, actually. Yeah. It's more enjoyable life in Thailand than in Cambodia. So I was thinking, Mom, how come we don't move to Thailand? She said it's not that easy. Yeah.
Now, is it in Poi Pat where you began your study at the Buddhist?
At the Buddhist temple?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I got sick pretty often, and in Cambodia, when you're sick a lot, people, your family members or your parents would usually send you to the temple, because they said the temple where you can go there and you can meditate and you can study, Buddha, and you get to calm yourself down, and they are good in helping you out with your spiritual need and all. So and for some reason, when I went to the temple, my health improved somehow. I didn't get sick too often anymore.
Well, tell me about that. When you go to study at the temple, so you're away from your family, you stay there at the temple?
Yes, I stay there the whole time. I stay there. I live with the monks, actually, although Holmes is not that far from the temple. Less than a mile, actually.
And so what was that life like there at the temple?
It was very peaceful, very pleasant. I get to live among the monks, the elders, and the nuns, and get to see all the rituals, the ceremonies, and all that. And in Cambodia, when there's, say, New Year celebrations, almost any type of celebrations are conducted at the temples, at the Buddhist temples. So, because back then, probably, I'm safe to say, maybe 95% of the Cambodians back then were Buddhists. So everything, any activity is at the temple, at the Buddhist temple.
Well, I think of all the trouble that you had been through where you'd lived before, and now you're in this very peaceful place. Must have been nice to be for a little while here in a place where there's a lot of peace.
Oh yeah, it's a big difference. I get to concentrate in school, and at the temple too. I get to concentrate and learn the Buddhist scriptures and such, and I get to enjoy life a whole lot more. And I get to go see my family anytime I wanted to. Although we were still struggling financially because my parents lost the business, from Phnom Penh and then in Kiri Rom.
So Lieutenant Tai, we were talking about time at the Buddhist temple there, and as you were being trained, and you talked about kind of the rhythm of life there at the temple, the things that you were spending your time doing. One of the things I know that happens, because I read it in the book, is you have a dream.
Yes.
Can you tell me that story about the dream that you had?
Well, I had many dreams.
Well, all right. Then tell me more than one.
The one particular dream that I had was, I live with the monks, and in a small house, actually, with the monks. And behind the house, there's a lot of mango trees. Mango trees are very popular in Cambodia. Banana trees, of course. But anyway, as I remember, one night I was dreaming that I was sitting behind the house, and under the mango tree, and I think it's because I'm so used to, at a temple, you get to see traditional dancers a lot. And my wife, she's the traditional dancer also. So I get to see that a lot. So that in my dream I saw traditional dancers were dancing, except they were coming down from heaven. They were coming down, and then they touched the ground and start dancing. And I said, wow, beautiful. So I was watching them, and when they finished, the head angel, this is like the angel, the head angel came to me, a lady, came to me, and I was sitting on a rock watching, and she came to me and sat on a rock next to me, and the rock started to fly. so like I was in heaven, right? So now here's the thing in Cambodia, the monks are the spiritual leaders, but not just that, they leaders on everything. And some monks, they becoming so popular that people will go to them for anything. And in this particular case, people will go to the monks and ask for lottery numbers. They want to be rich. They want to hit the lottery. So they go to the monks and say, would you give us the lottery number? What number should we buy and all that? And the monks would open up their Bible, and say, okay, when were you born? And asking all the questions, and then they look at the numbers. Okay, you should buy these numbers, right? So, and my master, the head monk, my master, he's been giving numbers, and he's been wrong. Honestly, I don't remember and stuff like that. And from experience, and I've seen that. And he's been giving numbers and always wrong. And once in a blue moon, he would give a correct number, and he became so popular. And then people would line up in front of the house, line up to get to him, and it's not free. To get number from him, they give him some offering and give him some money. So he became kind of like, it's like a business to him. And there were a dry spell that he just couldn't hit any number. And so he wasn't popular anymore. So I had this dream, and people, Cambodians especially, believe in dreams. I do to a certain degree. But in this case, because of the dream I had, I was thinking, okay, all right, two of us, that's number two, lady and I, and we were flying. Flying. So in flying in Cambodian, it's we say ha, meaning fly. From that we kind of translate that to 50, because the word 50 is ha. Ha, ha, same thing. So it's number 5. With 2 people flying, number 2. So I bought lottery. I put 52. It's only 2 numbers. 52, and I got it. I made the money, and my master wasn't too happy with me. He said, how come you didn't tell me? I could have given these people this number. I could become popular again, would make more money, and buy more food for you. I said, oh my gosh. So after that, every time, every night, or every morning, actually, they ask me, did you dream again? I said, yeah, but I don't remember. So it put a lot of pressure on me. As a little boy, I was only 11, 12 years old, but I don't know. I was into lottery too, because my master, he was so popular with people, and he gave wrong numbers all the time. I think out of 100 or something times that he only got it right one time, and he became so popular. So.
Well, I know you're being trained to be an elder.
Yes.
And so, did that involve anything different as far as, did you have to be selected for that, or did you have to go through an examination, or?
No, not at all. Not at all. Just the fact my parents took me there because I was sick and all that, and so they thought that I would be better health-wise if I go to the temple and stay with the monks. So that's how it started. And then my sister got sick too, and my parents took my sister to the temple, to the same monk, and he renamed her. That's all he did. Oh, that name is bad, because he looked at his Bibles, her date of birth and everything, and with that name, that's bad. That's why she's been sick. So he renamed her, and for some reason she got better too. So anyway, so back to your question. No, nothing special, because I stayed with the head monk, so he trained me to be an elder, because it was kind of hard to find elders too. Elders, they busy and they don't make enough money. The elders would go with the monks when the monks would go out to the anyone's house to bless the house, or to help out with anyone who is sick or ill. He would go over there and do whatever necessary to help out and to perform ceremonies or rituals. So usually elders would go with the monks, and elders would know what to say to begin the ceremony.
I see.
So my master, the head monk. I refer to him as a master. He trained me to be an elder, so I made money. Actually, so every time I went with him, people would, because I have to prepare, to tell them, okay, this is what you need to do. Bring like chicken, apple, no, not apples. I'm so used to apples now. I love apples. Back then we didn't have apples or oranges and bananas and all that for the offering. I would tell them you have to have so many chickens or how many bowl of rice and so many incense and candles and stuff, and of course the fruits and everything else, and would tell them what to do. And then when they had everything ready, the monk would be waiting, and I would start the chanting first to get the congregation to repeat after me for about 5 minutes or so, and then the monk can start the chanting. So that was my duty, and it was good business too.
I was going to say, I mean, you said your family is struggling, so you're able to bring in
Yes,
a little bit of money. To help
exactly.
the
So
family.
I helped out the family,
Yeah.
so made my parents even happier. And guess what they did? After they found out I was making money, they sent my younger brother to the temple to live with us. So it's myself and my younger brother stay at the temple.
Did you have the ability at that point to keep some of the money for yourself? Were you able to have some spending money for the first time then?
Because I did spend some, but most of the time I would give to my parents because I know they were struggling.
Yeah.
But I was tempted to keep some because food. Always hungry. It's not enough food. Although I stay at a temple, but it's still not enough food. So I would keep some and would let my parents know I'm going to keep this for school. When you go to school, buy some food and then take it to school and eat, or after school.
You're confessing it now. So
I am confessing right now.
I would imagine for you, if you could buy a book here or there, or would be nice. You could also, or are you just studying the scriptures at that point?
Actually, books were not really. As far as I remember, I think it's a public school, and I'm not sure how my parents arranged with the school. All the books were provided, but very, very rare. Very rare. You don't get to get a textbook or even a pad for writing. It's just a sheet of paper, and you use that for the whole semester. You have to use it scarcely. You cannot waste it. Yeah. So it's not like I didn't even have a backpack or anything. It's just a few sheets of paper that you carry with you all the time. Yeah.
Now, is it the Khmer Rouge that ends this situation when they come into the village? Is that what ends this pattern of life that you're on when you're studying at the temple?
Yes.
Everything changes.
Everything changed.
And so walk me up to that when you began to become aware, or the village, your parents maybe began to become aware that they were threatened, or that the Khmer Rouge were winning in their fight with the government.
Right. After I was an elder for many years, my master suggested that I become a monk. So he's got me stuff ready to become a monk. But then we kept hearing that the Khmer Rouge are gaining territories. They're getting closer and closer to Phnom Penh. So everybody kind of worried, but some were okay because they want to welcome the unknowns. We don't, and we again kept hearing that they're good people. They come to rescue us and all that. So we're not sure. But my goal was to become a monk. Actually, back then, I wanted to be a monk because of the respect and everything, and because I know my parents, they love the religion, the monk, and so that was all I was concentrating on. And I learned some Sanskrit words and all that, so I was teaching some young monks how to read and write and all that. But then one day we were told that the Khmer Rouge are now taking over Phnom Penh. So we said, "Oh, this is getting serious." So my master, the head monk, said he's leaving. He couldn't stay there anymore. He's gonna go find his family and join his family, because in all of the places where the Khmer Rouge took over, they got rid of all of the monks. Did away with monks. They did away with money. They did away with a lot of things. So we knew that they in Phnom Penh now, so they're not so far from us. They're gonna take over the whole country, and the monks gonna be jobless, gonna be kicked out. So my master left. So I had nobody, to help me out. No more leaders. So I left too to join my family. And a few days later, that's when my very first encounter with the Khmer Rouge was by. I remember we were at home, and then we were told, "Oh, the Khmer Rouge are here. They're coming now." So we all got up and ran to the street, and lo and behold, we saw this a parade of the Khmer Rouge with guns, and a bunch of young ones. And I looked. I said, "I know him. I know him. I know him. I know him." Some were teachers. Some were students just like me, and they now in the truck with the Khmer Rouge, holding guns just like that, shooting, keep shooting, to celebrate, to let us know they're taking over. And then I remembered some old people handing us the white cloth or white paper to wave, so they wouldn't shoot at us. Wave so to let them know we welcome them, we surrender, come, take over and all that. And so I was thinking, wait a minute, why was it necessary to shoot? I mean, to me, a gun, when you shoot, it's going to come back down. But anyway, these are young ones, and some were as young as me back then, 11 or 12 years old. And they were shooting guns, so my impression wasn't that good. And they were not, although they had victory, they were not really, to me, wasn't friendly to us. 'Cause I guess they had to put on the mean face to show, hey, we're taking over now, so don't mess with us, or something. So and then the whole parade, they all stopped at the border of Thailand and Cambodia. So we followed them there. So they set up all their the cannons, artilleries, and guns and all that, aiming towards Thailand. And then the Thai army were all there too, getting ready. We said, whoa, so we're gonna fight the Thai army now? But they were just to try to show force back and forth. And then within just probably, I would say, 4 or 5 hours later, a few of them holding loudspeaker, we call it microphone in Cambodia, loudspeaker, and they kept saying, "Okay, Americans gonna drop bombs, so we all now have to leave. Everybody will have to leave Poi Phet because Americans gonna drop bomb. We have to leave within 24 hours." That's when we all kind of scattered around and start running different directions to our houses.
Well, I would think because America had bombed Cambodia
Yes.
years before, people believed
Yes.
them.
It's taught in school also that
Okay.
that Americans drop bombs, and the Americans didn't like us. So with the propaganda from the Khmer Rouge made it even worse. So when we heard the American gonna drop bombs again, we all like, oh my gosh, we have to leave now. So everybody's starting to leave. Hospitals and all that, people who's sick in the hospital, I mean, they had to leave too. Have to be empty. Also the temples, the school, everybody gonna have to leave. So we started to pack just pots and pans.
So you
and some
lived
food.
here several years. So
We lived there about 4 years.
yeah, so you're very established. You can't take everything.
Right.
Yeah.
No, they told us not to take anything anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so chaotic because traffic was so bad. Most people had bicycles. some motorcycles. Cars too, but not that many cars. But still, traffic was so bad. We were walking. So my family, we had a bicycle. So we packed stuff up on the bike and start walking the bike. And a bunch of us carried stuff, pots and pans, some rice, and chicken, some ducks with us, and got some veggies from our garden, and just packed. That was it, and some clothing. We didn't have any furnitures anyway, just a chair, a table here and there. Actually, we didn't even have a table because so my uncle's family, they better than us, so they had a table and some chairs, but we didn't. And we didn't mind because we enjoy eating on the floor, sleeping on the floor anyway, so we were okay with that. But anyway, we didn't have much to pack.
Did you go back to the temple? Did you have anything at the temple that you wanted to eat?
No, I didn't go back because back then, by then it's just so chaotic. I was just holding on to my mom's hand the whole time. Yeah.
So you began to evacuate, and you talked about this fear that you had even when you saw the parade. You began to worry. Who are these people, and what are their plans?
Right.
And so I know there's going to be this process where you realize that these are not the saviors of Cambodia.
I wasn't sure yet, but I was not impressed by the gun shooting and all that. To me, why waste bullets? Although I was a little kid, but for some reason I was thinking, why you waste bullets? Save that for the enemies. And when it goes up, it's going to come down because we're all standing there. Mm-hmm. And why was it necessary? But people didn't mind, though. People were just waving, screaming, yelling, and just laughing and all that. Everybody was happy, I guess, except me. I was concerned. I don't understand that. And again, I was only 11. Yeah. So, but then, after they made the announcement, you see more soldiers just keep shooting. Go now, telling us to leave. And I was thinking, well, I know they want us to leave within 24 hours because Americans going to drop bomb. But why shoot some more? They were shooting. And they were even pointing at people, saying, go now. I mean now. We have to leave. And I didn't quite understand that. Mm-hmm. So my impression kind of changed. The unknowns to me now, like, okay, I think I know who they are now. I don't think they are our friends. Mm-hmm. Just in the back of my mind. Yeah. And then when we were walking, we saw people, some dead people who wouldn't want to leave. They just shot them. We had to cross over, jump over dead bodies and all that and see people hurting along the way. We walked and walked and walked and walked so many days. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they kept hurrying us, go, and they were not friendly.
And you didn't know where you were going to?
No, we didn't know. They just told us to leave. And they told us, well, within a few days we'll come back. But a few days later, we were still walking. And they kept pressuring us to leave, to keep moving. We couldn't stay. There were a family who got tired and said, we can't go anymore. Our mom is sick, father is sick, and we have to rest. They kept forcing them to move. And that was the first time when I saw a Khmer Rouge soldier beating up people. Start hitting and say, go. Yeah. So the families got up and, tried to get the family moving again. And that's when, to me, they were not friends. To me, I know they're not friends. Yeah.
So it became real clear in this process of evacuating or the way they were acting towards the people.
Right.
That they were not.
It's not like one person doing it, it's all of them doing the same thing, shooting and yelling at us, keep telling us to move on and all, and they were not nice. It's not like, hey, you have to go because Americans will drop bombs and you will be dead if you don't move. No, it's not that. They yell and say, go now, go now, go now.
So this evacuation goes on for days?
Ooh, weeks, I would say, yeah, because we walked and walked at least, it's over a week. We walked without destination. had no idea where we were going, and we kept asking when we see a soldier, we would ask, when would we go back? No, you're not going back. Go, keep going, and that was it. So.
But you know you're walking back into Cambodia. You're walking away from the border,
Right.
back into the heart of Cambodia.
Right. Yes.
Were you all able to stay together at this point? Was all your family?
Yes. We were staying together, the whole family.
Mhm.
Yeah. Although my father again became sick, so we had to carry him. Yeah. Sickness is very common in Cambodia, and especially during that time. Yeah. So and my father, he was not well. It was usual, like normal to our family that he gets sick very often. So, but we couldn't stay. We can try to rest a little bit, and then when we see a soldier coming, then we keep moving again. Yeah.
Would you stop at night and walk during the day?
No, we have to keep moving.
Keep moving all
Keep
the time?
moving, yeah. You can try to rest here and there, and without seeing a soldier. But when you see one coming, then you need to start moving, because they show us some examples already. They kill someone in front of us and beat someone in front of us to get us motivated.
Did you begin to understand who they were targeting, or who they were, who they viewed as the enemy at this point?
No,
Okay.
no, not yet. I didn't quite understand. I didn't know what was going
Yeah, you're
on.
so
Just
young.
like
Yeah.
so young, I didn't understand until we got to the village.
Mhm.
We got to a village where we didn't know anyone, but there were people there, and so my parents decided to just resettle there, to stay with people. And back then in Cambodia, a lot of people had storage facility
Mhm.
in each of their house. There was a family that was nice to us. They allow us to stay in their storage building. So we stayed there for a few days, ran out of food and all that. But then later on we resettled there because the guy, one of the official, I don't remember his title. He came and talked to my parents and all that, and took our names down and everything. And he told my parents that we could stay there with them. So we resettled there, and that's when, to me, I found out the reality of the Khmer Rouge, because that's when myself at that age, I joined all the kids my age. My older brothers, they joined other kids their age. My father was sent to a garden to take care of gardens. Only my mom stayed in that village with my youngest brother, who was only about 2 or 3. Had a sister, my sister, who she was about 5 years old. Even her, she assigned to a work group, 5 years old, and that's when they announced that no more school. School was outlawed. Money and everything, nothing, and you're not supposed to own anything. Only the government owns stuff, and you belong to the government. So and they use the word Angka. And when we hear the word Angka, it's like, wow, no one could say anything. So that's when, to me, that's when it opened up my eyes, like, they are not friends. Everything, we didn't own anything anymore, nothing. We had to earn our food daily. And if you're sick, you're not fed that day. You have to depend on your relatives or somebody to share their portion or their ration.
So the official came in to where your family was staying,
Right.
broke the family up into different, sent you to different places. You went with the 13-year-olds, right?
My group is probably from 11 to 14, I think,
Okay.
or 15.
Okay. So they sent you with that group to live somewhere else?
It's a labor camp.
Labor camp and work at the labor camp.
Right.
Okay.
Where we had to dig ditches and we have to build dams and we have to do rice plantations every day.
So this is all supporting rice production, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
In Cambodia, I didn't quite understand back then, but
Mhm.
now this is what I was told was that usually you only do rice plantation or planting only once a year. But the Khmer Rouge came up with this idea about if you build dams, real high dams, to hold water, then you can plant rice 2-3 times a year. That way you get more rice to sell. So we had to build dams. I mean, they're so high, at least 15, 20 feet high. And yeah, they hold water at certain place. And so we worked every day, and we had to earn our food daily. And at nighttime, a lot of meetings. We have to go to meetings. And after that, we take turn to stay up and watch the dam because the water may go over the dam or may break the dam, and then we have to call everybody and come and fix it, make sure we're not losing water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The political meetings at night, right?
Oh yeah. It's one of those. I remember. It's just like, oh my gosh. It's all about Angkor. It's all about the government. They ask us questions all the time. What did your parents do before? At first, I didn't quite understand. I said, oh, my parents owned restaurants. And then some kids, some of my friends, they told their parents used to be government officials and used to be teachers, doctors, and all that. And then what I noticed was a day later, a friend of mine who said that his father was a high-ranking official said, oh yeah, good, we need him to serve the country. We need him. Good. So anybody else? And a few others would tell you, oh yeah, my father was a soldier and all that. The next day, they were all gone. They were all gone. They were taken to join the family, and everybody were taken to the killing fields. And we didn't quite understand that yet, just knew they were gone. And then some more nights, they asked the same question. Anybody else? We need to know. We starting our country. This is year 0. We starting everything over, everything new. We need people to help us out. Mm-hmm. We need people who's got the experience. We need doctors. We need teachers. We need, even students. We need them. So tell us, what did your father do? I mean, and I said, well, I told you my father, he owned a restaurant. They didn't believe. They kept asking. Mm. So, and then more and more kids my age, my friends, start to miss. So we didn't quite understand at first, and then later on someone told us, no, they were all killed. Someone saw them doing that. So after that, everybody like, okay, don't talk anymore. And it's popular in Cambodia during that time. They said you grow a dump tree. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Everybody grow a dumb tree, meaning you don't talk, mm-hmm. just like you're dumb. You don't talk at all. Yeah. So that kind of came up very popular now. When we met at a kid, we said you need to grow a tree. So meaning keep your mouth shut.
Because I know, because your family would have been in danger because one, you lived in the city, middle class, a owner, not a worker.
Right.
You had education.
Right.
You could read.
Right.
All those things would put you at more risk.
I was teaching the whole village how to read clock or watch. Mm-hmm. Nobody knew how to, never seen watches before. Mm-hmm. It's in a very rural area. So I was teaching the whole village how to read and write for the first few maybe months. After that, no more. They said, no more school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was you grew a dumb tree to survive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't talk. When people ask you, you say, "Oh, I don't know. What did your father do? Oh, I don't remember." You have to be like that, and right then, you couldn't trust anyone anyway. That's why the phrase "grow a dumb tree" is that you don't trust anyone, even your friend. You can't say, "Hey, I trust you. You're my close friend." Yeah, my father used to be so and so. No, because that person may use that against you so that he can get an extra portion of rice or food or something, and that happened. So you couldn't trust anyone. During that time, you're not allowed to congregate anyway. A group of more than three cannot be together and talk. There's no time to talk anyway. We have those soldiers with a gun all the time making sure we are working. And I remembered, although I got better during the time I stayed at the temple, but my health was not that great. I had migraine headache. I'm much better now, but back then I still had migraine headaches, and I remember I passed out many times because it was so cold. It's raining for hours and hours, and we're still out there digging, and it was so cold. And I was about maybe 12 by then.
And you're not used to this sort of work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So passed out. And then we get beaten, and then when we get back to the village, no food for us. Luckily, I had my younger brother who stayed at the temple with me. His age close to me, so he and I get to stay in the labor camp together. So he shared his ration with me, but he wasn't too happy though that I was sick and keep getting his food. But I survived because of that. I thank him for that.
What did you stay in at the labor camp?
It's a building. It's an open building. All it had was floors and roof. That was it. No walls or anything. So all of us would sleep together there, and food served. There's a chef who would cook food for us, but the food, there was nothing. It's just watery rice. I don't know if you've seen that before, but we eat rice a lot. Cambodian, we eat rice for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, for supper. Now, but there's not enough rice, so they had the chef there cooking rice, but the rice it's just watery. You could just see water. You get a bowl, the whole bowl. You look at it, maybe just a few pieces of rice, and that's it. That's for lunch there, and then dinner, same thing. So my uncle. My uncle, he's not like my father. My father's like, he grew a dumb tree. He wouldn't talk. He wouldn't do anything. My uncle, he was mad. He made a comment about the food. He said he doesn't mind working for the Angkor. He said he'll do anything, but please feed him. He said we need strength. We need to have food in order to work. That's all he said. That's all he said. The same day, my cousin who was in the camp with me was taken away. And then we don't get to see them again. The whole family were gone. They said they couldn't afford to have someone like that against them. He was not against them. He just said, hey, we need more food. And that was it. He spoke up in a meeting. So.
No privacy.
No privacy.
No ability to speak out against your situation.
Not at all. Yeah, not at all.
No relief.
No.
Work 7 days a week.
7 days a week, no holidays, no weekends, not anything, and our work day is at least 12 to 14 hours a day, at least. And at night time again, we have to go to meetings. To me, they call it re-education meeting, but to me, that's just a brainwash meeting. And that's all it was. Everything is about Angkor. Everything's about Angkor, about starting year zero, about rebuilding the country, about wanting to get more people to help, meaning they want to know what your family members, used to do so they can get rid of them. Mm-hmm. And that was it. Luckily, for some reason, and I just found this out too, is that at the first or second year, they were targeting the army the police officers, and all that first. My father, my mom, restaurant owners were next. They were supposed to. Our name was on the list already when the Vietnamese took over in 1979, 78. Yeah, we were on the list. So luckily, we were not the first to go, like the soldier or the government officials and all that. So.
I'm sure some in the camp tried to escape.
Oh yes, definitely. Many times, my friends of mine who I guess I miss my parents too. I mean, every day while working, I don't mind the work. I was young and I was working and I was thinking, what is the meaning of life? And I was thinking, where is God? How come? Why are we being treated this way? I just never could understand it. But the thing is, we were not allowed to talk. But what happened was, a few friends of mine, what I found out was that some of them just could not take it any longer. They just could not take it, so they escaped from the labor camp. And somehow, I don't know how they did it, went back to the village to join the parents. They didn't know this, but when they left the camp, these guys already know. So the Khmer Rouge already waiting at the village, and they will be gone forever, never come back. And after it happened so many times, what the Khmer Rouge did was, whenever someone escaped from the labor camp again, they would get them. This time they don't take them directly to the killing field. They bring them back to the camp, and they would hang them. And they had meetings, every night meetings. Here's the example. If you betray Angkor, if you abandon Angkor, this is what's going to happen to you. Our friends being hung there, and there's nothing we could do. Yeah.
That even as you say Angkor now, just that idea of how just hateful that was to continue to drill in. What are you doing for Angkor? Why won't you do enough for Angkor? You said you enjoyed the work, but the brainwashing had to be worse at times.
Actually, I didn't enjoy the work, but I didn't mind. It's okay. But I had no choice.
Yeah, you had no choice.
No choice, but it's okay as long as you feed us.
Yeah.
But it's just a bowl of watery rice. How are we going to have any strength to do it? So, another confession, we had to steal.
Yeah.
We had no choice but to steal, to survive. Yeah. And then, if you get caught stealing, you're gone. A lady whom was close to my family, she was so hungry and she wanted to feed her family, and all she stole was tomato and pepper. Who's gonna enjoy eating pepper? It's hot, but it's still food to her, so she stole it, tried to take it home to feed her family, and she was killed because of that, just taking a tomato and pepper. So it was inhumane to me, very.
And you didn't know now, but now we know they're exporting all this rice. One of the reasons they're not giving you much rice is they're selling it to China and other places.
Right, I found out later.
Yeah, to get money.
Yeah, found out later. They always said there's not enough rice. We need to plant more rice. We need to build dams. We need to hold water a certain place. We have to do this. We have to do that. And we all said, well, feed us. We need to eat. So I kid you not, so we ate anything. At nighttime we would go into the forest and look for anything that we could get to eat. Anything. Yeah. Banana trees, we eat the tree. Yeah. It didn't taste good, but we ate. A lot of leaves and all that. Bamboo shoot, at least it tastes good. We go to the forest, look for bamboo shoots. Get bamboo shoot, and that helped us out a lot. The one thing, vegetable that is right now so popular to the Cambodian community, and always bring a smile on my face is when I talk about it is a watercress, because in Cambodia it grew still now. I think it grows wild, so that saves a lot of lives. We would go to the rice field and pick them and start eating them. But the thing is, because the whole country, at least my village, my town there, we had nothing to eat but that. So in just a few months, they're all gone. Although they grow wild, but they couldn't survive because everybody's eating, because there's nothing else to eat. Yeah, and banana trees helped us out too. Leaves, mushrooms, yeah. Still with a lot of people were sick, and there's no hospitals. I remembered I was sick like I could not work, but there's no hospitals. They had a guy who claimed to be he's kind of one of the elders, and he made some type of medicines from herbs, from leaves, from whatever he collected from the jungle, and he made those medicine for us. But no, it didn't help at all.
How did you get relief for your migraines when you would get migraines?
I'd pass out, and hours later I would wake up. I'm there by myself. Everybody's gone, and that was it. And then I would start walking back to the village or to town. There's nothing to relieve that. Yeah. Just have to tough it out. Any kind of sickness, there's no doctors. Yeah.
So you go into the camp in 1975, and you're there for 4 years?
About a little over 4 years.
4 years. So you talked a little bit earlier about how they went after those that had connection to the Army or had connection to the government first, and then it began to change later on. Can you tell me a little bit more about maybe, I know a lot of it is the same every day, but are there also some changes that take place in the camp as far as what the work looked like or what the schedule looked like, or less freedoms, more freedoms? Does it change at all during the time there?
Not at all. Actually, it's gotten to me in my village. People from other villages may have different experience,
sure.
And I've been told that before, that other villages, they had more food. They still had to work hard, but they were fed better than us. But in my village, it's gotten worse and worse. It didn't get better at all. Actually, from the beginning, it wasn't too bad. We were able to eat rice at first, solid rice. Months later, we're eating rice soup, but there's still a lot of grains of rice. At least it's still thick, it's not watery. And then like a year later, it's like water. You could hardly see pieces of rice. That was it. Nothing else. And so no, it didn't get better, and situation just gotten worse because people getting sick, becoming sick because of that. The lack of everything, vitamin, protein, whatever, everything. So people getting sick. So to me, it didn't get better at all. It gotten worse and worse.
Yeah.
And the food gotten worse too. Once a year, they would feed us good. But the thing was, everybody, maybe I'm not sure if it's safe for me to say, but to me, like almost everybody became thieves. So I remember one day they said, okay, tomorrow y'all gonna eat rice, solid rice, and we're gonna have some chicken, some beef and all that. So we were looking forward to that. We was just so happy.
You never had protein, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I couldn't sleep, just so excited. Oh my gosh, we're gonna be fed tomorrow. Good. Tomorrow came, the food was gone. Someone stole the food. The chef cooked. He said it made a big pot of that. The pot was like about this big to feed about 100 people. So he made a big a pot of rice and along with some chicken that he cooked. But by the morning, it's all gone. It's among us. We don't know who stole the food, but yeah, you can't blame them. I mean, we got mad. So we went back to the watery rice again. Same thing happened the next year. Yeah, although they had their soldiers guarding the food, but still somehow people were able to steal.
What was the occasion they gave you a nice, was it New Year's?
It's a New Year celebration during the harvest time.
Okay.
They said we've been working hard and they need to feed us well, and it was in April during our New Year celebration.
Well, there's a lot of difference between an 11-year-old and a 15-year-old. I mean, you're growing up in this camp. I mean, a lot of changes going on with you in this camp, and especially the amount of work and the ability to do work that a 15-year-old has versus an 11. There's a big difference there. So a lot of changes going on with you.
A lot of changes, but the work the same.
Yeah.
We I kid you not, many times when we in line to go to work, sometimes we have to stand and wait for the next group. That's how we sleep, is sleep while you're standing with a shovel and just lean on it and take a nap there. That's how we sleep, and that's it. And hungry, always hungry.
During this period, do you have any news of anything outside the camp? Either family or anything else?
No, there's nothing. There's no TV, there's no radio, there's nothing. So, no phones, no communication whatsoever. No. I remembered, it's embarrassing to say, but cried every day.
Yeah.
Miss my parents, miss my siblings. Yeah. Remember the old time when we were together, before the communists, but during the time. And that's why I always thought, like, why were we born? Why? I mean, what's the meaning of life? So this is what life is about. I just could not understand it. I just kept asking for God, although I didn't understand who God was or whatever. Just like so injustice.
I would imagine in that condition, some would lose all hope and take the next step of ending their life in the camp.
I don't know about ending their own lives, but people are dying every day.
Yeah.
In the sleep. You would go try to wake them up and say, hey, let's go to work. No, wouldn't wake up. But I'm not sure if they took their own life. I don't think so, though. I think it's most of the time it's just the illness, the diseases and all that, the lack of all the vitamins and such.
Is there a point at which that, as you think, if you've thought back on it, and I know you've thought back on it because you've written on it and told other people about this time in particular, is there really a point that you could say that was the lowest, that was the worst? It was all bad, but this was the worst part of that experience. Is there a moment or something like that comes to you when I ask you that question, or do you think of?
Not sure. When I found out about my uncle, I was devastated.
Yeah.
And then later on, I found out about my father, that he was tortured at a camp. They sent him to a garden, and they said they're gonna re-educate him. But it came out to be a concentration camp where they torture him every night, every day, try to get more information from him about people. So, I can't say I understand everything that he went through, but from what he told us, it was very bad. Yeah. But no, I can't think of any occasion when it's the worst. It's just so bad every day.
Every day, yeah.
When I found out my friends who was sleeping next to me dead, I was shocked, and I didn't even quite understand what death was. I kept trying to wake him up, So I didn't understand that. I mean, probably just the denial although I didn't understand death 100%, was like I just knew he's no longer with us.
Yeah.
But why? Couldn't understand that. Yeah.
I would imagine, of course, I can't understand it, but I would imagine you're just trying to make it through each day, trying to make it through the next day.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what to hope for. All I wanted was to see my parents and my siblings, and wonder if I'm going to have anything to eat the next day. That was my goal, basically. Yeah. Nothing more than that. Survive. Yeah.
Well, I know what's going to end this is the Vietnamese coming in. When they come into Cambodia and war breaks out between the Khmer Rouge and the Vietnamese, and ultimately the Vietnamese are going to take over. But
Right.
when did you get a sense, whether it be from the guards or from the situation, that the status of the Khmer Rouge or the control of the Khmer Rouge was weakening in Cambodia?
There were a few occasions that I didn't understand, but later on I found out. Was when we were working at labor camps, and we saw the Khmer Rouge running around back and forth, and then we hear the gunfight from a distance, so far away we couldn't quite understand what was going on. We knew it's a gunshot. We know the fightings, but we didn't understand who's fighting who. Never heard about the Vietnamese. Didn't even think about the Vietnamese was coming in. Not at all.
Yeah.
So we thought maybe the freedom fighters, the Cambodian freedom fighters, but didn't have any hope though. Never thought that anyone would take over from the Khmer Rouge. At least me, I didn't have that hope. I thought life was that was it. That was the meaning of life, is working every day away from your parents and get to see dead bodies every day, and get to see people being hung and all that. So not much of a hope.
So the fighting is taking place. How long does that happen before you actually have contact, or before the village falls apart, the labor camp falls apart?
Yeah. The fighting, as we were working outside, building dams and digging ditches and all that, and then we kept hearing the fighting getting closer and closer and closer, and you could tell the Khmer Rouge, they didn't feel the same anymore. Like they are nervous. They always in group talking and all that. So we knew something was not right, and the gunshots getting closer and closer. So one day, it's like we heard, it's like within less than maybe less than 400 feet away from us. So it became serious, and then we saw all the Khmer Rouge soldiers. They all were running away, and we kind of looked at each other. What's going on? Now who's gonna watch over us? It's just like we need them. Yeah, we didn't understand. It's just like we need them. Like, why are they abandoning us? Although we didn't like the regime, but for some reason, like, why are they leaving us? Didn't understand it. So we were just there, and then some kids said, "Oh, we get to go to our village," and that was like, "Oh, really?" I was stunned, just like I didn't know what to do, to be honest with you. Just like, so used to the Khmer Rouge, although I didn't like them.
Sure.
But for some reason, I can't say I miss them, but like, where are they? So when some kids suggested we go to back to our villages, I said, "Oh, really? Yay! Now we're talking." So we all so happy, and we start running. Yeah, I just followed some kids I knew and back to the village within a half day.
Did you know how to get back to your village?
No, I didn't. No. I didn't know. Some kids, they from the town. They were born and raised there, so they knew their way.
I see.
I was new there, so I didn't know how to get back. We had to run through the forest, and a half day to get back. Yeah.
And so as you're running that half day, I know you're getting excited because you're going to get to see your family again. But what was the village like when you got back? To your
Well,
village?
first of all, on the way back, I mean, we saw a lot of dead bodies
Yeah.
on the way back. Some Khmer Rouge, too, and some Vietnamese soldiers, and then some farmers just like us. And then we would see a lot of, I'm talking about these are bodies just there, but there's some buried about halfway. You see the arm sticking out or leg or something. And to me, for some reason, it's just like it terrified me and made me run even faster. So we ran and ran and ran and ran and ran until we get to the village. Yeah. And got to the village, it was quiet. It was quiet. Because a lot of families already left. There's only a few families still there. We were late. We didn't know what was going on. The Khmer Rouge at a labor camp, they somehow, I guess, they were late in abandoning us because the Khmer Rouge at the village already left way before them. So a lot of people in the village left already. Only a few families left, still there, waiting for their, children.
And so your family was there?
Yeah. My mom was there.
Tell me what it was like when you saw your mom for the first
Oh
time.
my gosh! I can't describe that feeling because 4 something years, I didn't see her. She looked different, but I was just so happy. Ran to her and hugged her and held on to her. I didn't want to let go. She did the same thing. We just cried and cried and cried and cried. And saw my sister did the same thing, just hugged her and my youngest brother. And so we were all just hugging and crying, and my mom said, "We need to go get your father." I said, "Where is he?" "Still in the at the garden, the concentration camp." So I said, "Okay, we need to go get him." And where? We had no clue. There's no one to ask either. A lot of people left. Luckily, there's a family or two still there, so my mom somehow got info from one of the neighbors who's still there. So my older brother who got there too, he said, yeah, he knows where it is. He thinks he knows, so we went after my father to get him.
So your older brother got back from his
From his camp also,
that he was in?
yeah.
Okay.
Back then, I had 7 brothers. Yeah, my older brothers, they were there first. So we went to get my father. Could not believe it. He was, we couldn't recognize him because he was tortured and all that, and there's nothing but bone and skin on him. So we got him, brought him back, and then we couldn't leave. We knew we had to leave, but we couldn't leave because my other older brother was not there yet. So we're still missing one. So although most of everybody left the village, we had no choice but to stay, waiting for him.
So were you the one sent to your father to get your father?
With my older brothers.
Okay. And so tell me that moment where you got to see your father. You said you didn't recognize him.
No, I did not recognize him. Saw
very
him, was
weak.
like, just like I hadn't seen him for 4 years, but looked like he grew like 20 years older. Could not recognize him. And so we were speechless. All we did was cry and hug each other and cry, and that was it. Yeah,
So you were able to get him and then bring him back to the village?
to the village.
But, there's still fighting going on. I mean, the Vietnamese and Khmer Rouge, right, are still, it's not others have talked about, the end, and then there's not peace yet. There's still fighting going on between the Khmer Rouge and the Vietnamese, right?
And the freedom fighter.
And the freedom
Cambodian
fighters, yes. You have the 3 groups
still fighting.
still fighting.
Yeah, but at that time in the village, we knew they not there. The Khmer Rouge not there.
Okay.
But the Vietnamese army, they not there either. They still afraid to go to small villages. They stay in groups and bigger cities. So there's no Vietnamese, but the Khmer Rouge already abandoned the whole village because they're afraid of the Vietnamese. But we knew that they would come back at nighttime to whatever, get their stuff or something. So, and they did come back that night. Yeah, we couldn't leave because we had to wait for my older brother. It was, I don't know, it's just the feeling, knowing, again, I was so young, but still it's like the memory is so vivid, just like, I just could not imagine being the only, we thought we the only family first, but there's another family who's still there too. They were still waiting for their, one of their kids too. But anyway, at first we thought we were the only family, and it was just like the feeling was terrible. Terrible. My brother was still young, and he was sick, and he's crying a lot. And then we were there waiting for my brother, and then we kept hearing footsteps of the soldiers running back and forth, talking. We could hear them talking about getting stuff, and we heard they said to shoot anyone still here. So my father had, cover my little brother's mouth so he wouldn't make any noise, and we were all just shivering, shaking, hoping that we would not be caught or be shot. Yeah.
Didn't sleep that night?
No, we didn't sleep at all that night because while waiting, that night we heard gunshots. We don't know who's shooting who. For sure we knew the Khmer Rouge were there, but we didn't know if the Cambodian Freedom's fighter were there or not. But we kept hearing the gun shooting, so my father said it's not safe to stay. He and the neighbor who stayed there too got together and said we have to go. So we left quietly and stay in a river. All just jump in the river and stay there all night long. Yeah. I remember trying to stay up because the water was like this to my, almost to my mouth actually, and just tried to stay afloat or above the water all night long.
So then did you come back to the village the next day to
Yeah,
wait for your brother?
At dawn we came back.
And your brother, did he show up that day?
No, he showed up the next day.
Okay.
Yeah. For some reason, his village, the labor camp where he was, the Khmer Rouge was still there. Didn't want to leave, and I don't quite remember how or why it took him so long either. He just like us, we didn't know our way around because we were new to the area.
To that area.
Yeah. So because we stayed in the village, and then we got sent to the labor camp, and that was it. We didn't know how to get back. Other kids, they born there, they traveled that way before. So we had to depend on other kids to guide us.
Well, I know once your brother gets back, you want to get out.
Oh yes, definitely.
So what steps does the family take to try to get out?
As soon as my brother got there, we left right away. We I was going to say we were packing. There's nothing to pack. So we started to leave the village quietly so that the Khmer Rouge wouldn't see us. And after we walked like many miles, we saw a group of people. When we saw people, we thought we were a lot safer. So we started to run towards people. Come to a small, an area like a small village. We didn't know the area, but we ran towards the people. And that's when we first saw Vietnamese soldiers there. Yeah.
And what was that interaction like when you?
They were very friendly. The Vietnamese, like they understood what we went through, so they were friendly. And my mom, she spoke Vietnamese, so that helped out a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So my mom went and talked to one of the soldiers, and yeah, they said they everywhere now. They're taking over the whole country, and that was good news to us. They said that you don't have to go through what y'all gone through again, and that's when they told us about the death and all that. We didn't know. I thought of just my village only. Didn't know the whole country had to go through all that. That's when they told us about all the mass graves and just to confirm what we went through, basically, and the killings, and told us the number of people who were killed. That's why they were there to help us out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they gave us some food too. Oh my gosh, because we were without food for so long and never had a full meal. Like, we look at the Vietnamese soldier like gods to us.
So what did you get to eat at that meal? Do you remember?
Rice and chicken.
Yeah.
Rice and chicken, fried chicken. Yeah, and rice. Solid rice. Not like watery rice anymore, solid rice. So I remember after I ate so much, I got sick too. Yeah. There was a guy who ate and then died. It's hard to believe, but yeah.
Body was just used to living on no calories.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he just fell down and died.
Oh.
Actually, I said a guy, a few people. But it's just the guy, I watched him when he just I couldn't understand it. I mean, he was just enjoying food, kept eating, and then he just fell backward and died. And then they said a few other people, same thing happened to them. I got sick, but stomach problem. Because I think I was eating too fast. Tried to use both hands. Yeah.
Well, so the Vietnamese help you out some, but they're really not set up to give you much relief.
No,
right? Yeah.
no. And especially at nighttime, they will leave. So you're on your own. Yeah, so we stay in that village still afraid and still no food. The food the Vietnamese gave us was just for one time.
Yeah.
And that was it. After that, we on our own again. And then people told us, oh, there's a small village somewhere nearby. There's some coconut trees, there's some mango trees, and people left their rice there. Or there's some. So my parents sent us, myself and my brothers, with them, hoping to get some food. The next day, so we went with them, and we were shot at by the Khmer Rouge. We were running around like crazy, running back and forth, came back to the village. The next day, no choice but to go back again, do the same thing. And then when we heard the gunshot, come back empty-handed. It took us a few times, the third, fourth time, they were not there, so we were able to pick some mango fruits, mangoes and all that, brought to my family. I remembered my mom was so happy to see us back with the fruits. Yeah. And we went to the rice field and tried to see if there's any rice for us to pick, but wasn't much actually. Yeah.
So once you're able to get some food and you're able to regain some strength, and I would imagine your father's feeling better now because he's got some food and he's getting his strength back.
Took a few months, yeah, for him to get better.
So you're there for how long in that village there?
We not there very long actually, only there maybe 2-3 months, and then we moved again to a few more locations. Just kept moving. We kept hearing about other places that we may have better opportunity for food. We moved, but it's about the same. Anywhere we went, we had to sneak at nighttime, sneak out to some other villages far away, crossing the rice field and run all the time, just hoping we can pick up some food from villages that were vacant or abandoned.
So the security at night is not getting any better. It's still just as dangerous at night.
Right.
During this time period.
Right. Daytime we felt okay because we get to see the Vietnamese soldiers. So daytime we were okay. Same thing as in the camps when we moved to when we got to Thailand. Same thing. At daytime be good. Nighttime the Khmer Rouge will come in. But anyways, in Cambodia, that's the way it was. The Vietnamese soldiers, although they were helpful, they were nice, they fed us and all that, but fed us that one time and that was it. After that, they're still protecting us. Just their presence alone, the Khmer Rouge wouldn't come near. Yeah, but the thing is, at night they all disappeared.
Now, was it during this time period where you started making your trips into Thailand?
We moved to some other cities
Okay.
closer to Phnom Penh.
Okay.
That's when right then there's food and some there's some good food and all that, but you have to earn it. You have to trade with something. So I remember my mom, for some reason we didn't know, she had a piece of earring and stuff, so I traded her earring. So when it's all gone, we had no choice but to either go to other villages and try to find if we get some more food, or we have to cross into Thailand to get stuff or buy stuff and bring back to Cambodia.
Mm.
So after many trips to other villages and get shot at by the Khmer Rouge, my father said, let's try this new way. He's got some friends who's been going into Thailand to actually smuggle.
Mm-hmm.
So my father said go. My mom didn't want me to go because I was still young.
Mm-hmm.
I was only I think I was about 15 now.
Mm-hmm.
My mom said no, and I was like a real thin boy,
Mm-hmm.
skinny compared to my brothers. But my father said it's okay, so I went with them. That was another experience. It was bad. We ran
Tell
all
me
of
about it. Yeah.
it was terrible. It was terrible because I was the young one. Everybody else so they big and strong and all that. I was a small kid. Followed my brothers, and we ran all the time through the jungle into Thailand. We knew there's a lot of booby traps. We knew there's a lot of mines, land mines, and all that. But the guy who's leading us, he's supposed to be an expert. He said he knew everything, everywhere, and all that. So we did. And we had to cross on rivers a few times before we made to Thailand. So when we get to the water, my brother would hold me up because I was short. So would hold me up, and we crossed the water, crossed the river a few times, and many times we had to stop. We just couldn't move because in the jungle, this is between Cambodia and Thailand. The Cambodian freedom fighters, there's two parties, two different factions, Cambodian freedom fighters, and they don't get along. Then we have the Khmer Rouge, who's still there too, so there's three. The Thai army, that's four, and then the Thai robbers. So there's 5 different factions there, and they shoot at anything that moves in the jungle.
Yeah.
So even the guy who was leader, he couldn't move. He said, no, too dangerous, we have to stay. So we stay. I remember we had plastics, like tops, but plastics to carry with us. And so under a tree, many times we just sleep in the jungle, to sleep, because we couldn't move anymore. I remember many times waking up, water was up to my neck. Yeah, sleep in water, and I couldn't believe I slept through the whole thing. Waking up like I was cold, and the water's right there because the top plastic, when you sleep on it, it creates like a bowl.
Yeah.
When
Fill
it
up with
rains,
water.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, fill up with water. Many times.
Mm.
And then I remember seeing some guys. Although our guide is so good, but still. There was one person who fell into the booby trap hole, and we were told to not look, but just to keep running. Yeah. The guy was screaming for help and all that, but they said, no, you cannot stay, you cannot. Because when he's screaming, he's drawing attention
Yeah.
from the different parties, different groups, and we hear the gunshots again. So we all just kept running. Yeah.
Was it, what was it like crossing the border into Thailand?
We get to see some Thai robbers too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Luckily, didn't get to see the Khmer Rouge, because we know the Khmer Rouge would just shoot. But many times we would hide, we would stay low, and then we hear like a group of soldiers walking by, and they were talking, so we could hear them. but we had to be very quiet. Many times we have to hide. But the jungle itself is not that big. To me, if we keep running, we could make it within a few hours probably. But we had to make many stops because we were not sure what's going on. When we hear gunshots, then we just stop and wait. The guy who's leading us, he would go first and he'll come back and say, okay, it's okay to move now. Or he'll say, okay, no, we're going to have to spend some more time here. Then we would just stay. Yeah.
So what sort of things are you bringing back in? Are you smuggling back in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When we go there, sugar was very popular. Sugar.
No one had sugar in years.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
But sugar is so heavy.
Yeah.
So sugar, scarves. For some reason, rice is not popular. There's some rice already in Cambodia, but it's too heavy to carry rice across the border. So it's sugar for sure, and cigarettes. Let's see what else. Some flour.
Mhm.
And I don't know why. But mainly, me and my brothers, we dealt with sugar because it was popular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I remember my mom, I mean, any jewelry she had were all gone because she traded in for sugar, for rice, and all that. So it's very popular.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So did
So-
you pack it? How did you carry it? Did you on a
We-
pack on your back or?
Yeah, different types. My brothers would pack. He had a stick, carry on his shoulder, and with two bags like this, carry it and run at the same time. Me, I had one bag put on my shoulder,
Mhm.
just keep on my shoulder and keep running. My other brother did the same thing because they bigger, so they can carry, a little bit more stuff. So they use a stick and carry two bags.
Mm.
Myself, just one bag. I could hardly support myself.
Yeah.
So one bag, and don't remember how many pounds, but it was heavy.
Yeah.
It was heavy.
I would imagine keeping it dry and keeping. I mean, there's
Oh yeah,
a
it's
lot of
wet.
challenge.
It's wet too. So
Yeah.
because it's a rainy season,
Mhm.
and we get rained on all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know there's one story about someone smuggling a diamond. Did you witness someone smuggling a diamond? Is that right?
Myself, my two brothers, and a bunch of Cambodians. We were all there when that happened. We in Thailand now. In Thailand, it's like a black market.
I see.
But the soldiers were there, so it's okay with them as long as no one gonna rob anyone, I guess. So we there just going from one booth to another trying to purchase stuff. And a lot of Cambodians, they may have gold earrings or even necklace or something or diamond, and they would go and say, okay, how much you give me, how much? They would look at it and say, okay, I'll give you so much money, $100, whatever. It's called baht. It's the Thai money. So I remember this guy. We didn't know him. Just saw him there. He was carrying two bags with a stick, and he was showing a diamond to one of the vendors, and asking how much you give me, how much, and they were going back and forth negotiating, and this Thai guy, soldier. He came, he grabbed it and looked at it and said, good. He said, he looked at it, he said, good. And then he pulled out his pistol and shot this guy right in the head, in the forehead. And we all are like, oh my gosh. And we were shocked. We didn't run away. We were just like shocked, didn't know what to do. All I remember was this guy. I think he has that mentality just like us. Although he got shot in the head, dropped down, I thought he was dead, and he got back up, and he was looking for his bag and his stick. He's trying to grab his bag and his stick, and then he fell down again and then died. And I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, that could have been me. And I think I would have done the exact same thing. I would probably get up and look for my bag because I'm thinking about my mom, my dad, back at the city. And I think he was thinking the same way. He probably has some family somewhere that he's trying to feed, you know, and they don't get to see him again. And that's routine life to us. Get to see that all the time. But that's just one of the examples.
I know that that's the only thing that can keep you going through the jungle and through being shot at, is you know you're helping your family and what it can do for your mother and your father.
Exactly. I mean, I was maybe 15 years old. I could have just think about myself, but just mentality back then is, hey, I need to support my family. Because I had a lot of younger brothers and one sister. And my father, who was sick all the time, and my mom, who's got the migraine headaches. I inherited from her, actually. But, yep, could have happened to me. Or could have happened to my brothers or anyone. I don't know what was the worst part, seeing him being shot or seeing him trying to grab his bags. It just, it's stuck in my mind all the time. I used to have a lot of nightmares before. Much better now, but now, yeah, now I'm much better. But first few years in the U.S. was common for me to wake up and start screaming and start running. And my mom, so many times she would stay near me and would grab me when I scream. With my nightmare, she would scream and she would grab me and shake me, and she would say, she called Bo, you in America. She spoke in Cambodian. And oh my gosh, just that word alone, when she said, you are in America, like relieved. I was sweating and everything, but then I felt good when she said, you are in America. So that's a key word she knew to say whenever I have my nightmare.
Wow, and that's a good kind of transition to, I know the family realizes at some time that the only way to improve the situation is to get out, and so can you tell me a little bit about when that decision was made and what steps the family took and that sort of thing?
Let's take a small break.
Okay.
Change
Okay, sure.
cars here.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. No.
I hope I won't get too emotional.
You don't mind emotion.
Oh, okay.
All right, Paul, we were beginning to talk about escape attempts and the decision to get out of the country. And if you could tell me a little bit more kind of about how that decision was made and why it was made and the timing of it.
1979. I don't remember what month, but we were still living in a city called Sarasaporn, and not so far from Thailand, actually. But anyway, we've been living there, and food was so limited still, and we had to find food daily, and we ran out of all of the belongings that my mom used to have, so we had nothing else to exchange for rice, and the trips to Thailand becoming too dangerous. So my father said we cannot go on anymore. We can't go to the villages to get food, and we can't go to Thailand because it's too dangerous. And the trip is too long anyway. It takes like 4 or 5 days or a week, or sometimes 2-3 weeks for us to get back. And my father, my mom, they didn't want to go through that again, just waiting, hoping that we would return, So my father said we need to go to Thailand. He said he's got friends. He heard from people that America is taking refugees. And that was like almost the first time I heard anything good about America, because all I heard was bombing and all that. And this time he said, taking refugees. I said, oh, really? They're not our enemies anymore? Well, they're going from bombing us now, taking us in? So we were thinking, wow, okay, good. Well, how do we get there? So we talked about, my father said he knows someone who could lead us through the jungle. We have to go into Thailand, stay in Thailand for a little bit, and then we can ask to come to America. We said, wow, that sounds pretty good. Sounds real good. The village where we're staying, for some reason they said it's not safe anymore. Anyway, they told us to move east. They said y'all have to move east because right now we cannot guarantee your safety. So we have to move east, and we didn't understand why east, not west. So my father and my oldest brother, they went east on foot because we didn't have car or anything. They went east just like they told us. They used the loudspeaker to make the announcement that we had to move. So we had to move anyway. So my father and my brother went east, and they came back. They were shaking. They said, everybody there, nothing but skin and bones. They all very skinny. They are hungry. They're worse than us. So there's no way that we're gonna go east. He said, I'm gonna go against their will. They want us to go east. I'm gonna go west. Excuse me. So he said, we need to get to Thailand. And his goal was to come to America, because he heard about the education, freedom, and all that. Not to count life. We have life to come in. So he planned all that out with my older brothers and all that. So a few days later, we just followed the crowd. Excuse me. Let me get some water real quick.
Sure.
So so my oldest brother and my father, pretty much those two, they talked about it and said, let's go. So a few days later, we follow a few families, move west, going through the jungle, the same path that we took to do the smuggling. But this time it's worse. It's bad because we have family. We can't just run all the time. Yeah. Before, when we do the smuggling, I was the youngest, so they taking care of me. Now I'm taking care of my brother, my sister, my three younger brothers, and my sister, and my mom, and everybody. So now we walk, we run, we walk, we run, and then during the daytime we all stay, and hoping my brother wouldn't cry or anything, because again we had to go through the lines again, all those different factions, the Khmer Rouge, freedom fighters, the two parties, two different factions of freedom fighters, the Thai robbers and the Thai army. Again, they would shoot anything in the jungle. But the guy who led us, my parents, I don't know how much they paid them. Whatever we had left, paid them. And unbeknownst to me, my mom still had some jewelry. I don't know how she got some, but she still had some. So she gave to the guy who took us, who let us through. You have to give them a certain amount of gold before they let your family follow or join your group to run. So we did that. Daytime we would try to just rest and stay quiet, and at nighttime we start running. But there was a time during the daytime that we could not stay still, because we were told that we have to move now, even during the daytime, because they were shooting at us. We heard gunshots from here and there, they're everywhere. So we said, which way do we go? We just followed the guy. He said, this way, and running towards the gun sound. Actually, we hear gunshots from there, but he said that's the only way. So we followed him, and then we got stopped. Here came the Thai robbers, and now it's like maybe 40, 50 of us, ladies, families, and everybody. Thai robbers came to my mom, and they spoke Thai to my mom and all that with the guns and knives and such, and my mom pulled out an earring to give to them. Others refused to do it. They used a knife to cut their shirts open, and everything. Even ladies cut everything open, their pants and everything. I'm talking about cut them all naked completely, because they knew that people are hiding their belongings everywhere. So that's the first time I saw the Thai robbers. They didn't wear a mask, anything. They raped ladies right in front of us. We'll pull ladies to the side there, and ladies would be crying, screaming, and all that, and nothing that we could do. We all just there, just stay quiet. Even their family members wouldn't do anything, because they had the guns on us all the whole time. So most of everybody was completely naked because they're looking for golds and all that. After that, we go into the next one, more and more robbers. Many different lines of Thai robbers. Yeah. And the gunshots, we hear that all the time. We don't know who's shooting at who. So, make the long story short, it took us 2 nights and 1 day in the jungle just to cross to the side of Thailand, going through the rivers and all that again. And except this time it's not, when we went through, it's not really so bad as far as the rain until later. So we made it to Thailand. A lot of people were still naked, of course. Adults, we talk about adults and females and all that. Some would just have something wrapped around themselves and such. So we got there, no food, nothing. So we stay in one location, and no food. We again just in the forest get anything we could. Some people was good at it, so they were able to find some mushrooms, some bamboo shoots and stuff. So that's how we lived for many days. And then we heard about a camp called Nong Chan in Thailand, which is not far from where we were staying. They said we need to go there and join them. So we moved closer. That's when we first experienced American Red Cross.
So there's a Red Cross presence at Nong Chan?
In Nong Chan, yeah. We saw the truck with the, the sign, and they were passing out food. So we ran towards them, and we were able to get some food, and they gave us a piece of plastic to use as, our roof shelter from the rain and all that. So we were grateful to them. And by then, there's a lot of refugees there already. Hundreds and hundreds of refugees in Nong Chan camp, which we didn't know about at first.
But now, is this on the Cambodian side, or is it on the Thailand?
It's in Thailand side now.
Okay.
Yeah, when first we were still in the Cambodia side, but then when we heard about Nong Chan, we went and now in Thailand.
And I know there's going to be you stay at Nong Chan for a while, right? How long were you at Nong Chan?
Nong Chan, I don't remember how long. Probably it's only 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
Before that, of course, we were on the Cambodia side, and when we were first there for the first few weeks, it was okay, but after that, it's rain. Mosquito was so bad. Besides not having food to eat, we slept under rain all the time. So luckily, when we joined Nong Chan, we were given the plastic. Yeah, so it helped out a lot.
And were you able to continue to get food there?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So you ate well there?
Ate well there, yeah. Rice and tuna fish every day, which is okay. Yeah, tuna, yeah. So not the canned tuna. These are the whole fish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm.
salted.
Mm-hmm.
Tastes good to us. We loved it. Yeah. So we stayed there for probably about 2 to 3 months.
And so in that time, I'm sure the more and more refugees are coming.
Thousand and thousand now.
Yeah. Grows to be very large.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Now, there's an incident, as you said, 2 or 3 months later, where Thai soldiers come in to the camp to say you're going to be relocated or you're going to be moved out of the camp.
Yeah, that's a few months later.
Okay.
For some reason, yeah, I didn't quite understand what was going on. One time it's like we used to see a lot of the Red Cross people, but then one day it's just like we don't see them, not many of them. And then this Thai official, not sure what his title, told my father and everybody else that now we're going to America, so we need to start packing and get ready. They have buses waiting for us. We all gonna go to America. So we were excited. My father said finally, he was so proud of himself because it was his goal to take us to America. So he was so proud, and we all congratulated him, said, hey, Father, we're glad we follow you. You are the best leader ever and all that. So let's go. So we all happy, and we got in the bus. They said to get in the bus. They give us a few hours, but we didn't need to pack. We got nothing. So we got on the bus. I looked around. We were like the first family on the bus. See like about 50 to 60 buses. So people starting to get on the bus. And about an hour or so later, start traveling. And it was a long trip, so I fell asleep many times. Long trip. And along the way, I don't understand though, we saw a lot of Thai people, a lot of Thai stand on the roadway, wave at us, and some had water. So the bus would stop, they give us water, some would give us food. We were thinking, well, we're going to America. Why? It looked like they were feeling sorry for us. I didn't understand. We're gonna be in America. We're gonna be in a better situation than you. But anyway, so they waved at us. Some looked so sad, they give us water and food and all that. We made 2, 3 stops, just like that. Hours and hours later, I woke up. They said, okay, now we're all gonna get off the bus. We're gonna stay here for the night. In the morning, we're gonna come back on the bus and we'll travel some more, and then we get in the plane and get on the plane and go to America. So okay, wow, all right. So everybody got off the bus, and it's a real high grass area. So we just all slept on the grass, and me and my dream. I had a dream. Well, I thought I had a dream. I was so tired. I thought I had a dream. And in my dream, I thought I heard people crying. I didn't understand why. So I woke up. It wasn't a dream. People were crying. And I don't understand why they were crying. I looked around. It was like people were sad in group to talk about stuff. Some were mad. Some were crying. My mom was crying like crazy. And I didn't understand. I said, Mom, why? Why are you crying? And she couldn't talk. She couldn't talk. She just pointed her finger to a direction that everybody were at. And I didn't understand. So she couldn't talk. So I got up. I walked. I looked around. People was like, worried. So, and a lot of Thai soldiers there too. So I walked to the group where a lot of people congregated. And I looked past them and looked. Found out we were on top of a mountain. And along the mountain in Cambodia, that mountain is so well known as it's called Dong Rek Mountain, where the Khmer Rouge planted a lot of landmines and booby traps. The Thai army did the same thing. They planted a lot of landmines and booby traps because that's where they usually fight. So they don't trust each other, so they planted a lot of landmines. So it's known as the most dangerous mountain, they said, in the world. So we found out we were right there. So I was thinking, so wait a minute, so we're not going to America? As a kid, I was like, I didn't understand it. So came back to my mom, and she couldn't talk. She was crying. My father was worried. My father went around trying to talk to some people. My mom wouldn't stop crying. And about probably 5, 10 minutes later, I looked around and saw a group of people. They were just talking, and I saw the Thai soldier. They doing something like they getting ready for something. Sure enough, I saw this group ran towards Thailand. They trying to run away from the mountainside back into Cambodia. They were told to go, but they ran against the soldiers' wish. Those soldiers just lined up and keep shooting at them. 50, 60, 70 people dead. That's when everybody, like right then is like shooting at us too. We had no idea. Heard gunshot, we saw those people die, and everybody looked around and started running. My whole family got separated. And everywhere I went, I see people crying, people dead bodies. I see people missing limbs and all that. I see ladies and men on the knees worshiping their parents and say, I'm sorry, I can't take you down. We're all gonna die anyway. And I've seen ladies left their babies on that mountain because it's known as the deadliest mountain ever. None of us could ever think we would make it. And as I was running, I see the mines blowing. I see parts of bodies just flying here and there. People crying. I couldn't hear anything. It was so noisy. I couldn't hear anything. Yeah. And I remember people just screaming and crying. That was it.
How do you even choose a path to run?
No, just run away from the soldier because they're shooting at us.
Yeah.
We didn't know which way to run. As a little kid, I had no clue. I just don't know which way to run. I was just running. But looking for my family. I couldn't see any of my family. Yeah, because everybody's running. So it's like so chaotic. So no idea which way we're running. And you can't just run because on top of the mountain you have to hold on to some vines, some trees and all that to climb down too. And of course, that was the first time I ever seen landmines, the wires and all that. Yeah.
In that escape, were you able to find any of the members of your family?
At the foot of the mountain, hours and hours later, we got together again. And that's when we found out my brother was wounded, the one who's still in Cambodia right now. He didn't want to try with us again a second time because he never thought we would make it anyway. And since he was injured, he didn't think he can.
Did he step on a landmine?
No, someone in front of him stepped on landmine, so he caught a piece of
Shrapnel. Yeah.
Shrapnel, exactly.
Oh.
So so we found each other at the foot of the mountain hours later. Again, you couldn't just run down the mountain. You have to grab a hold on the trees or branches of trees and vines or anything to grab a hold. Keep running. You have to ignore all the dead bodies or everybody else is asking for help. Babies, I'm sure there's hundreds of babies left on top of the mountain. I'm sure hundreds of elderlies were left there too, on the mountain.
So you're there at the base of the mountain, you're without food, you don't know where to go. What does the family decide? I guess your father and your older brothers get together to talk about what to do next.
Yeah, just so noisy I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
But I saw my brother and my father talking, but I couldn't hear anything. It's still buzzing in my ears, all from all the landmines that went off and all that I saw. I was still shocked. So
Yeah.
I was happy to see my family, but still like I wasn't me. It's just like I'm not even there anymore. I was still shocked. But then I realized everybody started to line up because of all the landmines and everything. So everybody now get in one line, start moving slowly. So everybody would start to kind of follow. We knew we couldn't stay there forever, so we had to move anyway. So single line now, we start moving very slowly. A day we may make probably not even 10 yards, because the guy in front wouldn't want to move. It's too dangerous. Yeah. So someone else may take the lead, and then we move a little bit more. We may make it 100 yards and then stop again. Have to stop. So we were in the jungle for about 30 days and 30 nights, I would say. And it's embarrassing, but back then, you can't be embarrassed. You have to go to the restroom. You have to do it right, or you can't walk away because of all the landmines. You have to stay there. So you do it. No one's gonna look at you. No one's gonna watch or laugh at you. Do what you need to do. Food, anything you can grab on the way. Anything that didn't look poisonous, eat it. Trees, limbs, or whatever. If you're lucky, you may see a mushroom along the way, but still you have to be careful when you pick it. Because you can see landmines everywhere. We got stuck there for many days. A lot of tall trees. I remember I looked up and never see any sunlight. Trees so tall, and without water. We would, grab any branch of a tree or small tree and try to suck the juice out of it just to survive.
So that takes days before you get out of the minefield, before you get out of the area.
Yeah, I would say at least 30 days for my family, until the Vietnamese came to rescue us again. Vietnamese soldier. When we saw the Vietnamese soldiers, oh my gosh, we're alive again. That's when we start to move fast, and that was like about 30 days later, though. Before then, it's like we were without food, without water. It's not a rainy season anymore. I remember people who were, who with one leg, one arm, injured with a head, and just screaming and begging for water. And where are we going to get water for them? None. But I remember an occasion where, we were so thirsty that we didn't even think, or we couldn't think. Someone in the front yelled out water. They saw a shallow stream of water, not far from us. Someone just shout out water, and they took off. We did the same thing. We didn't think anymore about landmines. Now we just thought about water. That's how thirsty we were. The mind started to go again. And so by the time I and my family, we kind of held back. So, and then after the landmines just went off and all that, and then we went. And when we got to the water, it's like blood, nothing but red color. Guess what? We drank it anyway. Had no choice. We drank it. But the memories there, seeing people walking with injuries, without legs, without arms, still stuck in my mind. Yeah.
Your family didn't give up?
No, we didn't give up.
Yeah.
No, we didn't give up.
So at that point, is the hope to make it back to the village, to that, is it Sori
Sapon?
Yeah.
Our goal is to make it back into Cambodia.
Yeah.
We never thought we'd be so happy to be in Cambodia. We tried to leave Cambodia, but because of this experience, we were so happy to be back. Along the way, we had people, when we made it back already, people there, calling us, you traitors, you this and that, because we left, we tried to escape. We didn't mind that. They wouldn't help us. Some would have some water for us, just after we getting close to the village. So we would drink water. Some curse out, you traitors, this and that. We didn't care. But our goal is to make it back somewhere and just to live. Never thought I would be so happy to see Cambodia again, but I was so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you end up back at the same camp or another camp? When you get back
No, a different camp,
Different
but
camp.
it's a long story before we get to the camp
here?
too.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking about memory, about nightmares, what I just told you is nothing compared to what I've seen. A whole lot more than that. A whole lot more than that. I mentioned about ladies leaving babies on top of the mountain, and people leaving their elderly parents on top of the mountain and all that. There was a lady who, for some reason, she had a newborn, and her husband was killed already, and she was holding on to the baby. I don't know much about her, but she was holding on to the baby, and she was with us, in the line, and she refused to give up the baby, I guess. So she was holding the baby with her, and somehow as we were walking, she stepped on a landmine. And I don't know how she knew that. I asked people about it. They said, you hear a click. So I don't know if that's true. But anyway, she must have heard a click or something when she stepped on it. So she was crying, and then she told everybody that she stepped on a landmine. So she told everybody to move away. And I was like third person from her. I kept looking because she was crying. And they said that she stepped on a landmine. And she was telling a story about herself. All her family members were killed during the during the Khmer Rouge. She's alone, just got married to her husband, and he was shot by the Thai soldier. Now she has nobody but the baby. So she wouldn't let go of the baby. So she was begging people to take care of her baby for her. And to me, it seemed like days, although I think it's only a few seconds went by. But it seemed a long time until one man said, okay, I will take care of your baby for you. Don't move, stay still. All I could hear, he kept saying, stay still, I'll get your baby for you. And she kept thanking him, said, thank you so much, thank, and then the landmine just went off. So that scene there stuck on my mind for years and years. But that's only a few incidents. Yeah. So when people mention Dong Rike Mountain, it's just like, I don't want to hear, seeing all that. Yeah.
And just looking at it, a lot of Cambodians had this experience on that mountain.
Oh yeah, thousands and thousands of us. Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but thousands of us. Yeah, and again, my father was sick again. Because we had to carry him now this time. We make a stick and a piece of cloth, and he would lay down on the cloth, and we just carry him the whole time. And my poor mom too carried my youngest brother because he was sick. All of us were sick actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No food, no water.
Yeah. Couldn't believe we survived that for days.
Now, when you saw the Vietnamese soldiers, were you able to get some food and some water?
No, they just tell us keep moving, because they were afraid of the Khmer Rouge. Too, so they just rushed us. They kept rushing us, and we were so grateful. We just kept running. Just follow whoever's in front of us. That was it. And by the time that we saw the Vietnamese soldiers, the road was wide already, big. We're not in single line anymore. When we saw them, we just people just split and took over the whole road. It's
Yeah.
wide.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hideaway.
kept running. It's not a highway. It's a dirt road, but it's
Mhm.
big.
Yeah.
So yeah. So when we saw them, it's like we alive again. Yeah. So kept running.
And so that group traveled from there. Where did it end up? Where did it?
People just went different direction to stay in different provinces, different counties, different cities, and all that. A lot of people stay in the general area there near the Dong Rike Mountain in the east. But us, my father kept saying, let's go closer to the border.
Your father was determined on America still.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He's a very strong leader, very strong about coming to America. Just like he knew we would have no future, no life in Cambodia. So, so when we made our way back, took us maybe a few weeks to get close to Sarasa Point where we left to go to Thailand. When we got close to there, we thought he was joking. He said, I still want to go to America. We all looked at him like crazy. You kidding, right? He said, no. He wasn't smiling. He said, no, I still want to go to America. And he said, no. Especially my brother who's still in Cambodia right now. He said, no way. We tried to convince him later on, no. For us, we didn't want to come anyway, but my father didn't give up. He kept asking, kept telling my mom, mm-mm. My mom, just like my other brother who's still in Cambodia, no. Yeah. But for some reason, I was not really included in the decision making.
Yes.
I was too young, I guess, so my older brothers believed in my father. And he said, we need to try again. And that's all I need to hear. When he said that, I said, I'm in. I'll go again. I said, well, we're going to die here anyway. So, but my mom kept saying, no way. I said, no way. So it's funny, though. We all told her, I was included now this time. I said, Mom, if you don't go, we'll leave you. So she's not about to leave, to lose us again. She said, no, I lost y'all during the communist time, not again. She said, I'm going to go die with y'all. That's the term she used. She didn't think we could make it. Yeah.
So take me through that second attempt.
The second attempt was worst. Was worse than the first one because we get to stay in the camp where we got bombed big time. Yeah. We went through the jungle again, but the escape itself is not as bad as before.
Mm-hmm.
But the situation in the camp that we stayed was so bad.
Yeah.
The Khmer Rouge, the Cambodian freedom fighters, the two different factions, and the Thai army is still fighting. But the robbers, we didn't see the robbers this time. I guess they knew better. They afraid of the freedom fighters or something. So now the Thai robbers kind of out of the picture, but only these four groups still fighting, shooting, and all that. And this time it's more and more people in the group. Before it's just like a family of two, and then we meet other people. But this time it's like the whole herd of animals. Like in my group, maybe 100. Still running, but a lot of people this time. So and the Cambodian freedom fighters were there waiting for us. So we went there. We saw them and said, "Hey, good." So now we good. We didn't want to see the Khmer Rouge because the Khmer Rouge wouldn't give us a chance. So we saw the Cambodian freedom fighters. We were happy and they were nice to us, so they took us in. So we stayed in the camp with them. That was a big mistake. Yeah, because we stayed with them. They're still fighting the Khmer Rouge. They're still fighting with the Thai army. And they're still fighting with the other Cambodian freedom fighter group. So we get bombed a lot, get shot at and all that. But the worst one ever in my whole life this is almost worse than the mountain. Because the mountain at least At least you can look and you can see the wires, you can see the landmines, you see people in front of you blowing up, and then you wait, and then you go through. This one, what happened, I was told the story. I didn't know, I just knew the bombing when it started. But I was told the story. What happened was a Cambodian lady, she went into Thailand and somehow was raped by a Thai official, high-ranking official in the army. And she just happened to be the wife of one of the Cambodian freedom fighters. So the soldier, when he found out his wife was raped, he got very angry. So he went into Thailand looking for the guy. He found the guy and he shot him, killed him. He killed the Thai soldier, and that night we were bombed like crazy. Hours and hours. You hear, the sound from the other side, it's gonna drop somewhere around you, you don't know where. That was the worst feeling ever. I thought the Dong Rai Mountain experience was so bad, the landmines. But this time the bombing, hours and hours, thousands of people died there in that camp. The one amazing thing that I saw was some reporters, photographers, they running around shooting, taking pictures while we ducking, we were trying to.
Are these Americans?
Yeah,
Americans.
I don't know Americans or not, but
Journalists.
yeah, journalists, Europeans, maybe, I don't know, but they running around taking pictures while we were just crying and screaming and hiding, and it was hours and hours. The next morning we were told more than 1,000 people died that night. That camp along the border close to the Khao Dang camp side, not at the Nong Chan anymore, this another side. Yeah.
So you knew you had to get out of there.
Oh yes, definitely. So we knew we had to get out. And so my father again sent us into Thailand to do some more smuggling, to buy stuff from Thailand and sell at the camp. And we knew we need to leave, but we don't know where to go yet. So he sent my older brothers and myself. I don't know how I get included all the time. I was the real thin boy, small. I'm like the shortest in my family, small. But I got included again. Paul, you go too. Po, call me Po, go. So okay, my mom didn't like the idea. I'm like my mom's favorite son. She didn't want me to go anywhere. So I went anyway. I was really excited. I wanted to go. Anything for the family, I would go. So we went. There's four of us, four brothers went together. We went to try to buy stuff. First few times we made some money, and the last time we went, four of us, and this time the Thai soldiers were waiting for us. They're waiting for us. And as soon as we got there, we got almost to the black market. Thai soldier came, point guns at us, got all of us down with our hands like this, all of us. And then they talk among themselves, and here came some buses and trucks, army trucks. Some people got on buses. My group got on army trucks, and we understood a few Thai words, and my brother kept saying, they said they're going to shoot us, they're going to get rid of us. And then we saw American Red Cross car came and talked to them, and we saw the lady, she got so mad at the Thai soldiers. I don't know what's going on, but maybe she was trying to help us. And she got frustrated, and she yelled, and they yelled back at her, back and forth, and then we saw her taking off. She just took off. So we said, oh no, this is not a good thing. And from going into Thailand many times with my mom, I understand a lot of Thai, So they said they were going to get rid of us. They said they cannot allow us to do this anymore. We have to be the examples. So they said, oh my gosh. So my brother, my oldest brother said, okay, we have to jump. I said, how are we going to jump? The truck was going so fast. It's open bed. I mean, you can jump, but I kept saying, no, we can't. He said, yes, we have to. We're going to die. So all of them, it's about maybe 20 of us now in the truck, about 20. Everybody said, jump, 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 jump. So the truck was moving fast. My two older brothers jumped, and everybody else jumped. Only me and my other older brother got stuck there, because the Thai soldier was, this time they stopped the truck and they were with the gun waiting for us to jump. I said, okay, so we just stay. Maybe 4 of us or 5 of us, I think. Myself, my older brother, and a few other people. My 2 older brothers, they left already. They were okay. They made it back to the camp and told my parents what happened. And they understood Thai. So they told my parents that we're going to be dead. So my parents didn't have hope. They thought myself and my other older brother were going to die. But after we continued, we saw the American Red Cross call came again. And we were so happy to see them. So the soldier followed the car, followed them to a camp known as Khao Dang Camp. We didn't know back then. So they took us there, and the American Red Cross lady brought us food and everything, and they brought more people. We get to see. That was the first time I ever seen so many Americans at one place. I think about maybe 10 people. Yeah, I only saw Americans or Europeans in movies, but that was the first time I saw so many. Felt so good, was happy. But my parents at the camp, everybody thought we were dead because we couldn't jump. So we stayed in Khao Dang Camp for about a day. The next day they took us back. They asked us where we came from and all that. So we told them, and they said, okay, we will take you back so you can join your family. So the next day they took us back, and we made it back. We was just so happy, crying, hugging, and all that again. And my brother and I told my family that there's a lot of food over there, a lot of American Red Cross people there, a lot of nice people. We need to go there, because I saw a few of families there already, refugee families. There's nothing yet. There's no structure. There's no camps or anything. It's just open field. But we knew the American Red Cross are there, so we need to go there. So when we came back, my father somehow was able to talk to some people and able to bribe some officials, some soldiers who would allow us to go to Khao Dang Camp.
What did he have left to bribe?
I have no idea. I don't know what he had. Yeah. We were robbed so many times and all that. So he was able to give them something. So they let us, like 6-7 families together, and we kept running across over dead bodies, see dead bodies, because at Khao Dang Camp, the Thai army, they wouldn't allow any in. They shoot at anyone, but this guy, he was good. He let us in, so we crossed into Thailand. Into Khao Dang Camp. Once you made it there, they can't do anything. So we made it there. We were fed by the American Red Cross. That's when they start to build huts, like some, just small structure with grass, with palm tree leaves and all that. But it was good, kept us warm and all that, get a place to stay. Every morning we would wake up, because at night time they are gone. The Khmer Rouge would come in. So every morning we'll wake up and we'll see dead bodies still, along the fence. They had fence up now. Along the fence, see dead bodies. Some may have tried to make it in, but they made it in through the fence already, but then die right there. So that's a daily thing to us, to see dead bodies. And at night time, we have people, at least I was excluded now this time, some older young men took turn to stay up because the Khmer Rouge. So whenever Khmer Rouge come, they would scream, say, Khmer Rouge, and everybody would hide. But a lot of ladies still assaulted by them, and some still killed by them, and all that. We are already in the camps. So every morning we'll see the American Red Cross would come, and they would just look at bodies and do something with the dead bodies.
You're there like a year, right?
My family, we were at Khao Dang for about a year and a half, and then we transferred to a few other camps. So total years in refugee camps, 2 years. 2 years total. But Khao Dang probably a year and a half.
Was the next camp was my route, right? Was it
My route, yes,
camp?
my route camp.
A little better conditions.
Much better.
Much
better.
And where is it, near the border, or where is it located?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Well, was it close to Cambodia, or was it a little more secure?
I think it's deeper into Thailand.
So a little more
it's right by
secure.
the ocean.
Okay.
We were allowed
so not
to.
the Khmer Rouge every night.
No
Yeah,
more
secure.
Khmer Rouge.
Yeah.
In my route camp, no more Khmer Rouge. Khmer Rouge gone. Only the Thai soldiers we had to face now.
Yes.
They mean to us.
Yeah.
They save our lives. They let us in and all that, but still they are mean. They beat people up. Left and right, in front of everybody. The Thai soldiers. Yeah.
And there's not an American military presence there. It's just the Red Cross, just the relief workers.
Relief workers and NGO and the Thai army there. But my route camp is a lot better food and everything. Building it made of wood instead of just grass or leaves, and electricity. Although they turn them off at a certain time, they only come on for a few hours. I think around 10 p.m. electricity will be out, so which is okay for us. So my route camp was way better. We get to enjoy that camp a lot.
Some luxuries or...
Yeah, they have movie to show us movie every week, once a week, I think. Some Chinese movie. We hadn't seen movies in years and years. That was very nice. Yeah.
And you also, I think there were pastors there as well in that camp.
In my route camp, I don't know if there were any. I'm not sure.
I didn't know if it was there or other camps.
Oh, okay. In Transit Center camp, there's pastors.
Center camp. Okay.
Yeah, there was pastors,
That was
missionaries.
later on.
Yeah, Seventh-day Adventists. But my route camp, probably there were, but I didn't have any chance to meet any of them. I was so into studying English. Yeah.
Crash course in English.
Yeah, I tried to learn
You're
English.
going to America, right? So you have to learn English.
No, we didn't know we coming to America yet.
Well, you wanted to.
Wanted to, yeah. Wanted to, but we didn't know yet, and I was just so fascinated with the language, with English.
Were you able to pick it up?
No, very, very, very basic, very slowly. know what's your name, where you live, something like that. Very basic, just a few words here and there, and that was it. Yeah.
So you still don't know at that point where you're going to be relocated or if you're going to be able to get out of.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We don't know yet. Although we enjoy the camp, we knew that we can't stay there forever.
Mm-hmm.
But then we knew about people who were leaving Mywood Camp to go to different countries. So that's when my father talked to a few people who got connections, and they told us all we have to do is write letters to different countries asking for sponsorship. And that's when my father said, I want to go to America. They told us about France, about Australia and all that, but he said, no, I want to go to America. To be honest with you, as a kid, I just want to go someplace. I don't care where, I just want to leave, Cambodia. And I knew we can't stay in Thailand. They won't let us stay. And seeing the Thai soldiers mistreating us, I didn't want to stay in Thailand anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know anything about Australia. I didn't know anything about France. Not much. I know a few Cambodians living there, but not much. America, didn't know much either. Only I heard it's a great country from my father, and saw some Clint Eastwood movies when I was younger. I saw a few movies, and that was it.
So why was he so excited about America, or how did he have knowledge of America?
He's got friends
I see.
who came to the U.S.
Okay.
As students and told him that they love it here, that it's a land of opportunity, and you can get as much education as you want and all that, and crime free. That's what we were told. It's like heaven.
No crime.
No crime. That's what we were told.
You have a job now, so that's not true.
That's not true. we learned it the hard way actually.
Yeah.
But they said no. It's like heaven. It's paradise. No crime. Yeah.
Well, when did you know that it was a possibility? When did you first know? I know your father's talking about this, and you're not in on all those conversations.
Right.
When did you know it was a real possibility that you could go to America?
Actually, when he started to write letters, or he didn't write himself, he got a translator to help him to write letters, and from what I heard, he kept saying America, America, America. He said the other option, but if America calls me, I will go first. He kept saying that, so I knew his heart and soul is all about America. My brothers, though, he pushed for putting as many letters to any country possible, and I was with him. I agree, but my father just wanted to come to America. Yeah. So I guess when a few families close to us, close friends, we just made friends with them, and a few families said, we leaving tomorrow, y'all. Sorry. Good to meet you. We're going to America. America. Most of them said California. I'm going to California, America, California, New York, and all that. Yeah.
And so, when your family heard, do you remember when your
Oh,
father
yes.
Tell me about that.
Oh, I told my father, because I was the one, me and my brother, we goes to the bulletin board they have at the agency. They post it twice a day. So I sit there all the time just waiting for them to come out and post. I'm going, no. We watch for months.
Is this at the Myroot camp?
Myroot camp, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Myroot camp. We kept watching, looking for names for months. One day, I was right there, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I saw my father's name going to America. I could not believe it. Yeah, could not believe it. I jumped, I screamed, I cried with my brother. So we went to see the family and told them, and we all just so joyful. Yeah. And then they said, okay, Although you go in, you still have to go through all the testing, the interview, and all that stuff. Oh, really? We thought it's a done deal. No, we have to go through the interviews and all that. And they ask us a lot of questions, and they said there's a chance that you may not go if you don't answer the questions correctly. So,
So you went from there to the transit center, and is that where they did the test, or they did those at?
oh no, all the testing are at
In
in Myrick Camp.
Okay.
When you made it to transit center, you're
You're
on your way. Yeah, transit center you only supposed to stay for less than a month or just a few weeks. That's the next step to come to the U.S. already. Myrick Camp is when they test you, and if you don't make the interview and you don't answer correctly, then you don't come anyway. Although your name is already on the list to come. So after we were so happy, then we got sad again.
More delay.
Yeah. So, but luckily we passed the test.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pass the test, you go to the transit center, then you go to Lupini or
Yeah, Lumpini.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lumpini. Lumpini is even. It's a place where you only stay like a day or two
Okay.
before you get to go to Bangkok and then catch an airplane to come to the U.S.
Okay.
Yeah, to come to Dallas, Texas. I have never heard of Dallas, Texas before.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. Had you ever flown on a plane before?
No,
No.
never. Oh my gosh, I got so sick. got airsick,
Uh-huh.
because I even get car sick because I never ridden in cars either in Cambodia. Yeah, just bicycle, that was it. Yeah. So got sick on the bus like crazy, and even worse in the airplane. And I didn't know. I was naive. I didn't know the time system. He is over there is what 12 hours ahead of us, or 14 hours. We got in the airplane. It was dark. It's like maybe like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something, and within an hour or so, it's light again. So what's going on? Had to ask people about that. Yeah.
So tell me about your first impressions of America once you got here. What did you notice? What do you remember?
Oh wow! Well, first of all, seeing the lights, in the airplane. Although I was sick like a dog, still look.
Looking out the window.
Look at the lights. Oh, it's so beautiful, and of course in the airplane. Never been in an airplane before. I was so impressed with the airplanes, and the flight attendant is so friendly. We didn't understand what they were saying, but they were so friendly. They smiled and they talked. They brought us food and all that. So I couldn't say much. Say thank you. They asked me questions and I couldn't understand. Thank you. That was it. So very happy in the airplane and came to Dallas. Now, although I was so happy, airport, seeing the lights and everything, I was still worried. I was looking for the cowboys, because in refugee camps we were told about the cowboys. They don't like refugees, so we were still looking for the cowboys. That was our only concern. But we looked and we didn't see any cowboys, so we thought we were okay. But the lights, oh yeah, definitely, and the lights, the building, the airport, and all that. So we're not used to, never seen glass door and glass wall and all that before. We walked into glass door, we thought there's nothing there. Boom, hit in the head and fell backward, and we just laugh. And my first time on the escalator, oh my gosh, I was so shaken. Yeah, there were, at least I was brave enough to try it. There were people who looked at me, oh no, walk back. I said, no, you have to go through that. I said, no, I take the stairs. Yeah, we were so afraid of it. And then we found out about the elevator. It's even worse. Yeah, it was fascinating. It was fascinating when the sponsor, the caseworker, took us to the welcome house, show us, the commode and the kitchen and all. You turn the lights, to turn the gas on and all that, turn the electricity, turn the lights on. It was just fascinating. And the water, you have hot water and warm water. In Cambodia, if you want a warm water, boil it. That's if you have any wood to burn and boil anything. So it was a true definition of heaven when we got here. Not disappointed at all. Only crimes is the opposite.
Relate that, because I know there's some hard parts to it as well. So.
Well, crimes, we were told in the camps that there's no crimes. It's heaven, it's paradise. And it appeared to be that way when we got to the U.S. Although, we went through some difficulty also with the apartment. But first of all, we stay in a welcome house. They put everybody there first until they find them a place to stay. So we stayed in the welcome house for about 2 days. Every day we would look up, watch that building, Southern Life, downtown. Yeah, so that building. It's so well known to the Asian refugees because our house facing the welcome house faced that way, and since we're not used to the days and night, the time system. Yeah, so we slept during the daytime, and at nighttime we up. So sponsors, caseworker come to us, and during the daytime we all asleep. At night, we up watching the downtown buildings. So, a few days later they found us an apartment in East Dallas on Live Oak Street. So we moved there, got our own apartment, 2 bedrooms, just 9 of us. Oh, that was heaven to us. That was nice. I loved it. There's one restroom. Of course, you have to take number to use the restroom every morning. The bad thing was there's no AC. So although we enjoy the freedom, the life and everything, at night, oh my gosh, it's so hot. We came here in July. Yeah, we came on July 6th, 1981. It was hot. So every night my mom would bring a bucket of water with a piece of cloth, and she would just soak us up every night so we could sleep. Well, the lock didn't work, and no one told us about it. And we were told before in the refugee camps that it's heaven, no crime anyway, so we never locked our door. It didn't work anyway. So my oldest brother, he came to the U.S. before us. His name was called first, so he came here a month before us. And what he told us is that every morning he would wake up early, and he would went out and from one dumpster to another collect aluminum cans. So he was able to save some money. So when we got here, he bought us a black and white TV. It's 5-inch, about like that. Oh my gosh, never watched TV before. I remember one time I went to a friend's house and we had to pay to watch TV, and it was not really any movie, anything. It's some puppets. Puppets, that was it. When I was a child. So now first time having a TV in the house, so we all enjoyed. We didn't understand anything, but we still enjoyed.
You watched Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't know much about Dallas yet back then, but we watched I Love Jenny, Bewitched, all that. Oh my gosh, so nice. We enjoyed that very much. Well, I think the next day, as we were enjoying it, and it sounds like we are dumb, but a guy walked in, unplugged the TV, and he just walked out with the TV, and we didn't know what's going on. We didn't understand, so we didn't say or didn't do anything until a few hours later. I walked to my brother's house. He lived on Fitzhugh, which is about maybe 10-minute walk from Live Oak. So we walked to him and said, "Hey, we like the TV a lot, but it's not there anymore." He said, "What do you mean it's not there anymore?" I said, "Well, someone came in the house and took it." He said, "What?" I said, "Yeah." I said, I didn't send anyone there. I said, oh, okay, what happened? So he said, oh, you got robbed. I said, you got what? Robbed? In the U.S.? In America? That's how naive we were. So he said, robbed in America? He said, yeah. He said a few days before that he went to a crime watch meeting where an officer attended and told the group about crimes. So he said, yeah, you just got robbed. I said, what? Really? In America? Unheard of. So, so he went to the manager. Manager called the police for us. That's another story there, because when the police came, my father was so afraid. He didn't want to go talk to the officer, because he's so used to what happened in Cambodia. He didn't want to go out. So, but the translator said, no, you have to talk to the officer, or else they cannot make a report for you. That's the only way to get your TV back. So my father and my mom, they talked, and my older brother talked, and then my father decided to go to talk to the officer, and he said, okay. He said, y'all close the door and put sofa or chair or something against the door. Yeah, because he's afraid something going to happen to him. He said, so we didn't know what to do, so we put a sofa against the door, and we peeked through the curtain, watching him. Saw him going there. Officer approached him, and they shook hands. I saw them shaking hands. I said, "Oh, well, that's good. That's good. That's not bad." So they talked for a few minutes, and my father came back, and he was happy. He said, "The officer's so nice. American police are good." I said, "Oh, okay, good." So we were happy about that. And he said, "We may even get a TV back." No, we never did get a TV back, but we were happy. We were so happy. So my perception of officers here changed there. And we should have expected that. This is America, heaven, and all that. But I think it's just the fear that we carried from Cambodia, what we used to see, I think. So that shouldn't be a shock to us, but it's confirmed. We felt so relieved that officer was nice to shake my father's hand.
And I know you're going to have a lot of stops before you become a police officer. You're going to do different things in the 80s, and you're going to go to school.
Right.
But I'm wondering about that decision. You ultimately have made your career in law enforcement. And do you know when you made that decision, or when you decided that, as you said earlier, I would have never thought I would have ended up here. So at what point did you decide that this would be something that you would want to do, or something you thought was important?
Right. I came to the U.S. Again back in 1981. I always wanted to go to school. I always want to be a teacher. And talked to my sponsor through an interpreter. I said, I want to go to school. And my sponsor lady, very nice lady, she laughed, smiled and laughed. She said, no, you're too old for school. I was 18 already. So she said, you're too old to go to school, and you need to find a job to support your family. I said, okay then. So she found me a job at a school, Richardson Junior High. So I worked there as a janitor for about 6 months. And then I have a friend who told me about a printing job that they were hiring, and through church friend. So I said, okay, I'll take that job. So I started a job at a printing shop. Worked there about 3 years. But during the time I was working there, I worked with the church a lot. I volunteered for the Saint Episcopal Church and All Saints Episcopal Church. Volunteered there for years and years. And then I met a pastor from Dallas Baptist Church from downtown. Mm-hmm. He worked for them, and he hired me as a translator. Work part-time. So I worked with him, went to church and helped out in the community, and every night we would go out and have a Bible study, sing songs and all that. And he, the one who heard about the police department hiring Asian liaisons. Mm-hmm. not officers, but as liaisons. And reflecting back then, when I worked for the church, I said we had Bible studies and all that, and there were a few times that we showed movies, Jesus movies, and out in the backyard of the apartment, and people get robbed left and right, and they told us about it. We called the police for them, and a Vietnamese lady who just came to the U.S. for about second night, she got sexually assaulted. So we knew there's a lot of problems in the Asian community, in the refugee community, and because of the language problem, it wasn't reported. So my pastor heard about this hiring, and he told me to try it. I said no. I said no, not police officer. I want to be a teacher. He said no, you need to try. I said no, thank you. And so he kept telling me there's a communication problem, and that it's time that I need to step up and help out the community. He said, after all, you're going to be a liaison anyway. So being a liaison, you're not going to be a police officer. Just help out your community doing translation, interpretation, and community service. So I said, well, first of all, my English was poor because, I only had some time at the high school sneak-in classroom reading some books, and then I took ESL class. I did take ESL class for about 6 months, and then also I took the GED at El Central College. So he said I was ready. I said, okay, if you think I'm ready, I'll try. And a few Cambodians from Carrollton tried, and they all failed for some reason, the civil service. And so I tried, and somehow I have no idea I passed. So I became a liaison because my title was a public service officer, wearing uniform and everything, carrying a baton, a handcuff and such, but not a sidearm. I could use a shotgun, but not a sidearm. So did that, work in the community, so closely in the Asian community, did a lot of translation, did a lot of interpretation, and we were known quite well in the local law enforcement agencies. Other agencies would call us for help to do translation all the time. And that's how my book came to be, too. We were on CNNs and all that, and a writer from Chicago, Evanston, Illinois, saw, and she came here to write a book about me, subject of that. But anyway, all that, so then my boss, who's a sworn officer, his name is Ron Coward, and he's a Vietnam veteran, and he kept telling me, he said, Paul, you are a public service officer, you're a liaison, and you wear the uniform. You are as big a target as me, so why not become a sworn officer? Same thing, he said, just need to go through the academy and all that. So I said, well, no, I want to be a teacher. Still on my mind, I want to be a teacher. But he said, no, you should try to become a sworn officer. So, needless to say, make long story short, he convinced me, and in 1988, I became a sworn officer. Yeah.
And what's it like to, this is a big question, but it's a very different job, of course, than you thought you would end up with. But what has been most rewarding about this career for you as you think about, you thought about being a teacher and what would be rewarding about that, and you had a clearer idea of that. But going into this, what has been most rewarding for you about being an officer?
Well, as to me as a teacher, you provide people with education. And so I like that, and it's just the value of being a teacher. It's just the word education alone. It means so much to me. But as an officer, I don't regret it at all being an officer. It's been 31 years now, and I'm enjoying it. When I was a public service officer, I was able to help out in the community, do a lot of interpretation, a lot of translation, and taking people to different places. Help and do tutoring and all that, helping. although I was an officer, but I was teaching like citizenship class and doing after-school tutoring, holding community meetings, and pretty much it's about safety, but social issue too. So if someone is sick, I take them to clinic or hospital and all that too, not just doing police work. So I enjoy that a lot. And then so when I became a sworn officer, I was able to be assigned back to the storefront where I was as a public service officer. So I enjoy that a lot too, doing the same thing, helping out in the community and being a liaison to the Dallas Police Department, representing the Asian community, doing what I enjoy doing, helping people. I think especially the Cambodian people who went through the communist, who went through the Khmer Rouge, who went through the Dong Rai Mountain, who went through the escapes and all that, they have suffered a whole lot already. I think they should deserve an easier life here in the U.S. and not being preyed by the bad guys and all that and live in fears. And the example I gave you about using a sofa to block the door, that's very common in the Asian community and especially the Cambodians in the East Dallas area. Because, my wife told me the same story before I met her, same thing, using the sofa, using chair, anything, and even went to the extreme, having a knife to protect himself and boiling hot water, waiting for whoever's going to come in through the door, breaking in and splash with hot water and all that, because didn't have gun or anything and didn't speak English and couldn't, call for help and such. So it's kind of like, they don't want to be violent.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds horrible saying, you have a knife and hot water and all, but survival, basically. So that's why I enjoy my work, is that I was able to help them out and educate them about safety, personal safety and such, and able to lead them, guide them, and, be, I'm bragging now, but be a role model to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not heaven, but you can make it a little bit more
Oh, yes.
like heaven.
Definitely.
Through the work that you do.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned, I didn't mention earlier that Nathan Roberts is also here with me and Melissa Sloan is also here with me. And one thing that I give them an opportunity to do is if they have a question,
Sure.
I've asked you a bunch of questions, but I want to make sure if they have some questions to give them an opportunity to ask. So,
Sure.
Nathan, I don't know if you had some questions you'd like to ask.
Thank you for speaking with us.
Sure.
The story is amazing, and we've gone much longer than most interviews, and it's been wonderful.
Thank you.
To hear you speak. I have a question that's really broad, but I think that it would be good to hear you talk about it.
Okay.
What has and what does family mean to you?
Family means the whole world to me, and I'm sure it is the same with everybody else, but it means more to me because of what we went through. It makes me appreciate family even more because we went through hell actually together, and I was separated from my family for so many years, and through starvation, through all the difficulty and all that together, it creates a whole lot more memory. So family to me means a whole lot more, means the world to me. And again, I know other families or other people say the same thing, but I see more meaning in my story because of what we went through. We learned to appreciate each other a whole lot more. I have heard about families, not to downplay anything, but here, people would say, oh, I have a cousin or a brother in California or somewhere else, and I haven't seen him or her for years. And I was thinking, really? And then your family? You haven't seen them for years, I haven't heard? I think they appreciate their family too, but probably not as much as me because of what we went through. Again, because of what we went through, we appreciate each other a whole lot more. It's just like when I work as a police officer too, I get to see a lot of, a lot of violence out there. People become victims of crimes and all that. And when I come home, you know, I don't know, it just makes me love my family more or appreciate them more because other people are not as lucky as me. They lose their family members and all that due to violence and such.
One more question that I've got. Students will watch this video and they'll hear about Cambodia and about you and your family's experiences there and all of the Cambodians' experiences during the Khmer Rouge regime. What do you want them to get out of this? What do you want them to know or take with them?
The students?
Your story. Yeah. It's your chance to be a teacher.
I like that. I like that. I always want to be a teacher. Education is everything. In Cambodia, education is very, very high, and teachers and students are highly respected. So my message to the students, I would have to say that stay in school, get as much education as you can. Everywhere in the world right now, everybody wanted to come to America, but they don't have a chance to come. A lot of students are born in this country, or at least come to this country, and now in America, America is the land of, opportunity, land of freedom, and land of education. So being a student, it's a good thing. Stay in school, get as much, education as you can, because your future will be bright. Without education, it's not good. I mean, you can look at it in whatever way, but without education, it's nothing. So that's why I want to be a teacher. And I remember my father. My father and I, we talk a lot, and he always give me advice about this and that, and he loves to tell me story, and something to teach me. My mom too, she loves to tell me story, but like story about fairy tale. But my father, when he tells me story, he like a teaching. And one thing that always stuck in my mind is he gave me an example about frog in the well. He said, you have to be educated, you have to go to school, you have to learn. He told me about a story about a frog in a well. A frog just only see a small well and look up, and all he could see was the sky and then the wall of the well and nothing else but that, and he thought that's the whole world. So my father told me to be, just to be wise and to use your brain, use your mind, and use it wisely and get as much education as you want. As a matter of fact, when I came to the U.S., he told me, although my sponsor lady said, no, you have to get a job, my father said, no, I don't want my son to have a job. I want him to get as much education as he could. He was nice, but I said, I'll get a job. So I got a job and been working since the second day of my stay in the U.S. to now. Been working ever since. But back to the students, you here in America, you cannot be at a better place for education. Again, millions of people want to come to the U.S. for education. So take advantage of it. Yeah.
I just have one question. Just listening to your story, there's just so much that you went through, so many different difficulties and trials and hardships. And I just wonder, what do you attribute, just to see that your whole family, with the exception of your one brother, made it here. What do you attribute just the ability to survive and cope? What do you attribute that to in terms of personal qualities or beyond that?
First of all, I would have to say, even back in Cambodia, I didn't know who God was. I thank God for that. Right now, I thank God for that, and I thank my father for being a strong leader to convince us to come. And of course, also, my mom. I can't leave her out. She's although she's against it, against coming, but just a little threat to her to leave her alone by herself. And she came along with us, and she's doing well, and she's a good leader too. once you get her on your side. So I thank her for that. So I like to say I would attribute that to her too, with my father and God. And of course, the American people who opened the door for us. And I can never forget the American Red Cross, who saved our lives in refugee camps, and whoever else was involved in the work at the refugee camps. You know, because without refugee camps, we would have been still in Cambodia or in somewhere in the jungle, wandering around, getting lost, or getting shot at, or getting killed, or sent back to Cambodia. So many different people, that we owe. And I'm very glad to have this opportunity to get the story out, let people be aware of it.
Well, we've taken a lot of your time today, Lieutenant Ty, so I appreciate you making time for us. And,
Sure.
Your willingness to share your story.
Sure.
It's been an honor for us to be able to hear it. So we want to thank you for that. We want to thank you for your service to the people of Dallas.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome, and thank you so much for this opportunity too. And I mean it, because when I found out about Hitler, about what happened to the Jews, I couldn't understand. I said, what's going on? So why history repeats itself? Why is it happened before? I thought this is the first time that the world would hear about stuff like this, and it's unbelievable. The movie Killing Fields that came out, it's very real, but it's not real enough. And I understand movie, they can't make it so real, so graphic that people wouldn't want to watch it. But I cannot understand why people allow something like this to happen again, like what happened during the Hitler regime. So by doing this, I thank you, because you are allowing me to tell the story that has not been told much, or not been told in detail.
Yes.
And again, what I have told you during this interview, it's brief, not in quite detail either. There's many different incidents that stuck in my mind all the time. Nightmares still there from time to time, although I'm much better now. But having the opportunity to tell a story and get the story heard to people in the other communities, it makes me feel good. I feel better, feel relieved. So thank you, and Nathan, thank you too, and ma'am, thank you so much. Yeah.